If it matters to you, it matters to us. We're Cayman 27, Cayman Informed.
West Bay beaches with its shiny coral sand, and my heart it longs for you, oh Grand Cayman. Come back home to your island, for I long to see you walk upon my sand. For my shores, they belong to my children, and my children belong to Grand Cayman. Come back home to your island, for I long to see you walk upon my sand. For my shores, they belong to my children, and my children belong to Grand Cayman. For my shores, they belong to my children, and my children belong to Grand Cayman.
The opinions expressed by Cayman Crosstalk, its hosts, callers, or guests are not those of Hurley's Media or its sponsors.
Here are your latest news headlines from the Cayman 27 News Team on Rooster 101's Cayman Crosstalk. Now, here's the news. More revelations from the NRA illegal dumping. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories for the Cayman 27 newsroom. A Water Authority Cayman report reveals the National Road Authorities illegally discharged well waste at 4 roadside locations in Grand Cayman for a period of roughly 8 years. The report concludes that the waste mainly consists of water and inert materials and is mainly inorganic. The metals detected in water sampling, including iron and aluminum, which exceeded Florida standards, cannot be directly linked to well cleaning materials. The report also said that heavy rainfall flushing debris into the wells could include known carcinogens like arsenic. And in other news today, finalization of Cayman's integrated solid waste management system has been delayed. Government says it now is expected to have shovels in the ground by late 2019. According to a statement issued on Wednesday, the preferred bidder is still negotiating technical, financial, and legal matters. And finally today, government has sealed the deal on the purchase of Scranton Community Park. On Wednesday, the premier, Alden McLaughlin, told the MLAs in the Legislative Assembly the purchase was completed last month. He says government paid just under $273,000. He says government also moved to purchase an adjoining parcel of land to expand the current community park. For more news on these stories and others, you can click on our website at Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
Good morning, Cayman Islands. Yes, number one, that is for you because Cayman to me is plural. But I hope that everybody's having a wonderful time this morning. And it's going to be another jam-packed day. We're going to feature 2 MLAs coming into the studios this morning. One, we're going to talk with MLA Bernie Bush from West Bay. And he's going to be bringing in, I believe, I haven't got the details right away, but a concerned citizen regarding a coastal works application that has went before the planning and DOE and all of them that required to look at this, and also I believe the Conservation Committee, according to the conservation law, there's a coastal works license that went in for application and public notice. It was posted in one of the periodicals, one of the newspapers last week, and it's asking basically to create a dock and also remove sections. I'm not sure how large it is and the specifics therein, but large sections of turtle grass in the Barker's Beach area of West Bay. And we're going to be discussing that with MLA Bernie Bush. And then we're going to be talking with MLA Kenneth Bryan. Well, you just heard one of the highlights in the newsreel there. is that the premier in his speech yesterday and answers, I guess you would say, from MLA Kenneth Bryan from Central Georgetown that the Scranton area falls into, that they acquired some property. But the premier made certain in his delivery that MLA Bryan had not one scintilla, not one ounce to do with the acquisition of that property. It was well underway, even from under the Honorable Kurt Tibbetts' time in office, which was the previous administration as well. We'll go through all of that in some details and find out from both of these gentlemen how the sitting in the House has started, and also probably maybe touch on as well some details that are, if one listen, it I wonder whether or not it's perplexing, but some statements made by the Minister of Tourism, Honorable Moses Kirkernel, yesterday regarding a cruise berthing facility, from some of the questioning that came from the opposition. So we'll be touching on some of those things as well, because one of the things that jumped out at me, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're not going to be held basically on the line for it. But when you get in further to the speech and when you hear the delivery and some of the questions, and I got to give kudos to the opposition and so forth for asking some of these questions that is prompting and prodding some more revelations that are coming out. Well, obviously, we need to know about the financing deal, because if we don't want to fall into the same category that Mobile, Alabama fell into, Antigua, and all of the rest of the different ones as well. And so we need to know about the financing deal. Even though the cruise ships are willing to put up money, what is the financing deal? What are the details behind it all? And frankly, to be honest with you, I think Johan Moxham had it spot on the 26th of September. The procurement process, or even the bidding process, has unfortunately gone awry. And when you got bidders on stage right next to the chief and the chief tons, I guess you would say, of the procurement office, that is saying that it's still going through stages and phases, and another bidder that is on the floor representing it, things aren't absolutely kosher in that way. So we need to, those are some of the questions that came up as well regarding the cruise berthing facility. So it should be a very hot discussion this morning. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we want all of you to participate as much as you can. And you can do so by dialing 233-1019. That is 233-1019. That is sponsored by our wonderful friends at Superior Auto. If you're looking for a great great garage, well, you can't find a better place than that, to be honest with you. And also we have the WhatsApp, which is 324-1019, 324-1019. In addition, we also got our email, which is Cayman Crosstalk at hurleysmedia.ky, and also our Facebook page, which we're going to be working on very shortly, which is Cayman Crosstalk. And before I end this particular segment, I just want to send the deepest condolences to the family, friends of Mr. Jonathan Ebanks. Mr. Ebanks was a wonderful part of Cayman's tapestry of our musical culture for as long as probably anyone can remember. Sadly, this year we lost two members of MOJ, the Memory of Justice. As you all may know, I'm a massive fan. Cayman Crosstalk had the wonderful privilege of highlighting some of our artists, like Greg G, and also like Jonathan. If you would like to see a video of Jonathan playing his beautiful harp guitar, we have it on Cayman Crosstalk. Like it, share it. And once again, I just want to say and send my deepest condolences to the family and friends that lost and the Cayman Islands that lost a spark in their life. I wish the greatest comfort on all of you. Fond memories will be abound. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got some callers on the line, 233-1019, 233-1019. Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Cayman Islands.
Boy, you don't have nothing better to do with your time.
No, because
Well, you know,
I come to find out that my pupil is learning his schoolwork.
Well, I just want to say, today I got to mark it down in the calendar as a good day because November the 15th at 7:10 a.m., number one called in and said good morning, Cayman Islands, and didn't exclude anyone. It's a good day.
Lord have mercy, I'm gone now.
Good morning, sir. How are you this morning? How's things over in the Brack?
Good morning. Just as dead as you can find a fly when you can't find him on the garbage.
Oh my goodness gracious! Well, hopefully things will change. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't
Don't
say.
worry. I'm working on it. We just soon get things going up here.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I genuinely mean this, and no one can ever say that Minister Kirkconnell has not tried his endeavor best to bring people to the Brack.
Yes.
He acquired new airlines to make it much more quicker, much more efficient, much more comfortable. He brokered all kind of different deals so that people will go there and open little boutique hotels and whatnot and trying to facilitate other development. So, and then Juliana, the Honorable Juliana O'Connor Conley, she's buying up a storm and buying tons of property. I think most of the resources towards acquisition of new public lands and so forth has been in the Brack. So I would say you have two ministers that has, if any district needed any care, any attention to try to bring stuff on it, you cannot fault them in any way whatsoever. That's from my perspective because money has been spent on Cayman Brack. I'm not sure whether or not it's money spent wisely, but it's money been spent.
Yes, sir. There's only one thing I don't understand. Why they stop the road work?
Huh?
Why they stop the road work running that pipe?
Maybe
The
that.
water pipe.
I don't
I
know.
want to find out. Keep it going straight to Spot Bay.
We'll see. Maybe it's a budgeting thing. Maybe it's a scheduling thing. I don't think.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you with that one, to be honest with you, number one. But I tell you the truth, I invite them anytime. In fact, I'm going to, Mr. Smith, Ernie, has been very kind and gracious to me. So hopefully we can have him and Mr. Tatum down here one day again because they're willing to come. They love Cayman Crosstalk. They love to be here. So maybe I'll invite them to see what's happening with the Brack as well and have a Brack time.
Then maybe
a good
I'll
old
be
time.
able to sit in then. What is happening to your station up here, man?
¿Qué pasó? What do you mean?
¿Qué pasó?
See. What do you mean?
better go cave with the pastor you can't find so. Because I can't see it.
So what is still giving the same issue?
No, it's just as black as hell.
So it's
With
gone.
The devil footprint there.
So it's gone completely now.
Yes.
Jeez, crackers. All right. I think they're playing with us. But nevertheless, I'm going to work on it immediately for you. All right?
Please, you tell whoever is in charge that I said get this thing going.
We'll do that right away, honestly.
If you have the right, I deserve it too. If the governor have the right, I deserve it too.
Yeah, well, I'll take this opportunity to invite the governor to Cayman Crosstalk as well. And since Kenneth Bryan is...
You call him and tell him that he must call it the place and tell him 50 TV for the Brack.
Well, I know the honorable ministers listen, so honorable ministers, please help your constituent.
Okay, sir. And one last thing before I go on. Please let me send out my condolence to the Ebanks family.
Yes, sir.
And I mean that.
Yeah, he was a good man.
Yes, I when I say something, you know I mean it. I don't talk halfway.
Yep. All right, number one, you want to help me? I gotta do my thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the typical time. Time check right now is 7:14 and 50 seconds. Time check is brought to you by our wonderful friends at Subway. Ladies and gentlemen, for a limited time only. And we just want to make sure that because we want all of our friends to really get as great deals as possible. If you need a wonderful pick-me-up in the mornings, like a cup of coffee, well, Subway now can help you and has always been able to help you. But here's how they're going to make it even better for you. When you go to any of the 6 locations of Subway, as far as East End, straight to West Bay and everything in between, and buy and purchase a cup of coffee, they will give you a free cookie. Yes, of your choice, a free cookie along with a cup of coffee at 6 locations. Even if you want to go in at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, well, they've opened 2 stores 24/7 to assist you with that. One in West Bay, the other one in Central Georgetown at Anderson Square. Subway.
Eat fresh, eat delicious, and you get a cookie.
This hour of Cayman Crosstalk is powered by Subway. Subway. With 6 locations across Cayman, you know it makes sense to choose Subway. Subway. Eat fresh. Eat delicious. More of Cayman Crosstalk is next on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
Is back. Sign up for the Sports Pack today and fuel your passion for football. Sports is life, only on Flow.
From happy beginnings and life choices that we make along the way,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
Family protection and long-term financial plans.
Business insurance and generous employee benefits.
For happy beginnings to happy ever after, visit BritK.ky.
Brit K, where people come first.
Have you heard? They have new daily meal deals at Popeyes. A different meal with side every day of the week for the same price of just $3.99. Monday is chicken soup with rice. Tuesday for the chicken bowl. 2 tenders on Wednesday. A loaded chicken wrap on Thursday. It's all about that shrimp on Friday. Chicken nuggets to start the weekend. And the mixed 2-piece to finish.
The new daily meal deals from Popeyes. A different meal every day, served with the world-famous best dressed chicken for only $3.99. Only at Popeyes, Louisiana Kitchen on Eastern Avenue.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
Message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in, letting us be part of your morning and part of your day. I'm joined right now by MLA Bernie Bush, and he also brought a concerned citizen and West Bay in the studios as well. And I want to say to Honorable Bush, could you pull that microphone to you, sir? Because I know you talk loud and so forth, but I don't think you talk that loud. I need people to hear you. And I want to say a very wonderful, special good morning to you. And, you're looking fantastic. And I just want to say you are an embodiment of a miracle. And I want to make sure that tonight, if you're all to see me, why I'm wearing my stash and so forth, is because males have 2 major killers on them. One is cardiovascular disease, which you are a walking miracle, and then also prostate cancer. And tonight at 7 p.m. at the Lions Center, I'm wearing my mustache as a walking billboard to remind all of you that tonight is a wonderful seminar at the Lions Center at 7 p.m. to talk about prostate cancer. If you have any origin of Afro in your blood, well, please come on down, gentlemen, because you have a higher propensity of developing prostate cancer, and is one of the cancers, if found early and detected early, could be easily removed, and you can have a wonderful life. And tonight is going to be a free screening, PSA screening for all of you, and a wonderful seminar to learn. So I just want to say to you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, welcome back to the studio, sir.
Thank you very much for having us at such short notice. And I'd like to say a special thank you to Mr. Kenneth Bryan for giving us the first few minutes here for Laura to bring to the public what's going on. Because when I was called to the meeting on Monday, the holiday, with the concerned citizens of that side of the island, there was nothing else to do but to try to let the public know what's going on. Laura and the organizing and the committee looking over this thing have done a good job in such a short notice of time that we've already got over 1,200 legitimate signatures. And sometimes some people saying enough is enough. You know, you'll hear some people cry that you can't expect to get something without giving up something. I agree with that 100%. But it don't mean we have to give up everything, and especially things that are something that been held pretty close to the heart of Caymanians, and especially West Bears. At this time, I'll have Laura introduce herself, and then we can go with it. And if any questions you have to ask as well, Laura can explain it to you.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Eggleshaw. How are you? Good to have you in the studios. I need you to pull that microphone in just a little bit. Yeah, just manhandle that thing. Yeah. And a very good morning to you. Talk to us about this coastal work license and what is happening right now. In fact, I sent over to my Director General the classified ad there that will probably help and assist some of those that are watching us on TV and streaming live of what you're actually petitioning on.
Okay, well, how I found out about this particular application was me and some members of my family had a notification by mail, and as soon as I got it, I went to Cabinet. I spoke to Troy Jacobs to see the plans and the application to make sure I got the facts correctly. And then my family, Powery family, we all had a meeting. Mr. Bush attended as well, which is very nice of him. And we looked at the application and saw that it was in a replenishment zone, which, as you probably know, is protected by the National Conservation Law. Mm-hmm. This area of replenishment zone covers around 859 acres. But the application itself is for 179,775 square feet of removal of seagrass from this replenishment zone. So environmentally, that is a huge concern because these replenishment zones were put there. We have about 10 of them in Grand Cayman. This is the second largest. They were put there to protect the environment, to protect the island itself. It's a natural feature. And the largest one is the North Sound. This is the second largest one. Also in the application was a proposal for a dock, which was 300 feet long and 120 feet wide dock. And they were going to excavate the seagrass to try to make it a swim area. You can go to DOE to find out more information regarding this particular replenishment zone. They also are aware of this application. And you can speak to Ms. Gina Petre, Mr. Fred Burton there, and Mr. Tim Austin.
Well, one quick second. It's something that I think this is history. Sometimes you wonder why people don't remember what happened in the past. And I do think the public, if they wants to know what happens when you remove that grass, look in front of the Thompson residence, what happened some time back. I remember the case clearly, and I remember Miss Petrie and those people were kicking against it. And within a year, everything had been eroded where they had removed all that grass. One government had said no. The next government came along and said, yes, they could remove the grass. Within a year, everything had eroded, and they were saying, oh, what we could do about this. If they had listened to Gina and those people about that turtle grass the first time, it would not have happened. So, and this same is going to happen again. If you move that, you will lose a lot of our shoreline, our Bacchus as we know it.
Well, the thing with it is, I got to ask you, Mrs. Eglishaw, and most people were under the impression that Barkers were acquired, obviously, by a now Caymanian. Frankly, let's just be straight up, the Dark Corporation. And there was a big, beautiful entrance that was marked on either side by gorgeous limestone pedestals and a gorgeous banner over the top saying Barkers National Park. We had Sea Pond that was a nice little boardwalk. Went out in Sea Pond as a child. We used to go there all the time. We used to go hunting, shooting, doing whatever we needed to do in that area. I remember Barkers very fondly. But I wonder, whatever happened to that wonderful contribution to the Cayman Islands in terms of a national park? Has that now, has that been rescinded? Has that now been taken back? Because we, the Cayman Islands people, I remember that big fanfare all about it, that we have acquired this because it's going to be now the national park. And because of that, we want to maintain the pristine national or natural state that it is. And the turtle grass is an integral component. If anyone went to the release, for example, on holiday over the weekend, I think it was Sunday, of the releases of the green sea turtles, and you listen to Mr. Gady's Hislop that released coordinated the release, he was saying that turtle grass is an integral part. Even we had the managing director of the turtle farm, Tim Adam, on the studio right before the turtle release talking about it, that sea green turtles are unique. They're basically herbivores. And the reason why I call it turtle grass, they're the ones that trim it. They're the ones that feed off of it. They're the ones that make sure that it's there. It's not just there just for the coastline retention, but it's there for a natural habitat for the green sea turtles that we're hoping to help come back to our shores in 10, 15, 20 years to hatch, and more will go along.
That's correct. This particular area where the national park is now around it, bought by the Dark Group. So which means that to enter the national park, you have to enter the Dark Group area. It's privately owned now. So I'm not sure how government is going to work that one out. I think Caymanians need to be concerned legally about these issues of conflicts of interest. The turtle grass, like you said, is there. It's full of plankton. That whole area is a nursery, not just for turtles, but for other fish, conch, lobster, because they can hide in the grass, they grow there, and they replenish the whole island. So it's not just one little area that'll be affected. It's the whole island, really, in the long term. So people really have to think ahead when we think about development in Cayman. It's not just, this is, this little small area in a little dock. There's a big side-on effect. And as Mr. Bush just said earlier, the two other examples were the Lawrence Thompson House in the early 1990s and Buddentown Public Beach around the same time when they tried to take away the seagrass, or they did actually take away seagrass, and the beach eroded for about 41 feet. So from the waterline all the way up, there was no beach. And this was a smaller space. So you can imagine what's going to happen in the 179,775 square feet of removal of seagrass. And when the next storm comes, what will happen then? It's a huge thing, and Caymanians really need to think about it, regardless of how we feel with development. The area could be kept as a natural park, the coastal area. Perhaps we could just have kayaks around there and just leave it alone with the seagrass intact. It could still be used as a natural park, enhancing the whole Barkers Park as well. But now that it's privately owned, the land near to the coastal part is privately owned. I'm not sure how that will affect all of us when it comes to, say, Easter, when we want to camp there. What do we do? It's a huge development that's proposed to be there, not just the removal of seagrass.
Planning, it comes back down to planning, members sitting on that planning board again. I mean, it's nothing Caymanian or nothing else sacred to them. Is everything has to be the almighty dollar.
Well, if I may say something.
You remember Bogasan Road, Woody?
Don't get me started.
Look
with
right
that.
behind where I was
My blood
born.
pressure has come down this morning. Don't remind me.
When you play with nature, this is what happens. We could walk all the way to Pageant Beach.
Yep, you and I.
Well, what they call now, what they call it on the wharf.
The wharf.
Now you can't make it past the four-way. You got to get in the water and go through.
You got to swim.
You got to swim.
Yep. And the thing with it is, you know, Mrs. Eggleshaw, here's the thing. You know, Mr. Bush, I got to say this to you, is that when people submit a planning application, planners have to follow the law and look at what the law is. There's a lot of emotion into this as well. And so they don't look at emotion. They just simply look at what is being submitted to them and whether or not it's legal and falls within the framework that they need to fall under. Hence the reason why part of the legal framework is what Mrs. Eggleshaw is doing right now, Laura is doing right now, is collecting signatures as an objection based on any kind of application that's going through. But Laura, I gotta ask you, and this is kind of rhetorical, kind of a statement, but we live in a common law jurisdiction. And a common law jurisdiction is underpinned by the doctrine of what they call stare decisis. Stare decisis is plain and simple, very simple, is a matter of precedence. So if one has been allowed an application, this may be just one single and the first one in. But because it has been granted, or if it will be granted, that then now opens the floodgate for the whole entire stretch to do the same. And there will be no way under the doctrine of stare decisis that any planning board, no matter whom they are, whether or not this one is completely wiped clean and a new one is put in, will ever be able to crawl back those kind of decisions, simply for the mere fact that because, and once again under Section 19 of the Constitution, everything has to be fair, rational, lawful, and proportionate. And so proportionate-wise, I have my little section of beach I want cleaned out as well. And I think that's some of the larger things that we need to talk about as well, prior and before any kind of issues of environmental impact, because then it will impact the whole entire head of Barcus.
Yes, there's so many different avenues of this. I mean, the legal aspect of it, I'm not the person to speak to, but this area is already protected under the National Conservation Law under Section 7 and 12. So I don't see, and in my opinion, Cabinet should not even consider or should not approve this project because it is protected, it is already legalized.
Well, I say this with the greatest of respect. South Sound is as well, what we call South Sound, but it's called Red Bay. That's a marine park as well, but there's applications going in there for docks, and they're being granted.
Yes, and South Sound is on the replenishment zone area as well. I have a map from DOE in front of me, and you can see that they have South Sound down here as 776 acres of replenishment zoned area, which means the same thing as the Barker's area.
Yeah.
No excavating seagrass, no, there's certain things that are on the, if you go into National Conservation Law online and you look it up, you can see for yourself what is stated down there. I do have it in front of me. I can read it out, but I prefer not to read on the line. But some of these areas, in my opinion, should be protected by the Ramsar site as well, which means that no development can be done in the future and they'll be protected more than they are now. Because obviously a lot of the things that were protected and are done on the DOE and the NCL law are being developed right now as we speak. Like you say, precedents are being set and we're not doing that much, or we're not stopping them. We're trying to do our best, especially the environmental factors that we know it will ruin the area basically forever, at least in our lifetime and generations to come. So we're trying our best to do something. And for the public, the best thing they can do right now is to email Troy Jacobs. That's troy.jacobs@gov.ky, and or call him as well at 244-2466 and send in your objections. If you're not sure, just call Troy and ask to see the plan so you can make your comments and you can see exactly what this application is. The application is called Adventure and Taste Limited at Barker's Beach, and it's under Coastal Works license application. It was advertised in the paper twice, so that means it's a public application and anyone can object. It is going to be advertised again. So please call Troy Jacobs at Government Administration Building for more information, and please go and see the plans for yourself.
Well, I gotta, before we end this segment, could you, because there's a notification period for all applications and so forth, and there is a deadline that you need to get your your objections in. We can't lollygag around if you're looking for people to object, and then the objections come after the fact. And one has to be cognizant of that when the planners look at it, if you send your objections in after the notification period has ended, then it will not be counted. And so you need to do that post-haze. Post-haze mean immediately, as soon as you get to your desktops or something of that nature, because it's already been in a newspaper. I would imagine it came out for the first time, last week Wednesday? I believe it was, or Thursday.
I think yes, I'm not sure exactly. The notice I have in front of me, it says applications for a coastal work license. Mr. Handel Whitaker, on behalf of Adventure Taste Limited, applies to the Ministry of Finance, Service, Commerce and Environment for the grant of a coastal works license for permission to construct a new dock and remove seagrass in front of Block A, Parcel 19 and 20. But apparently this public notice they had the wrong ministry, so they have to re-advertise it. The due date for objections, and this particular one that I'm reading out to you was the 29th of November, but they will have to extend it. But it doesn't mean that we should procrastinate. So I think everyone today, just email or write or go to Government Administration Building and speak to Mr. Troy Jacobs and put in your objection in writing.
And just kind of curious, would you be open, Laura, to accepting those applications as well and submitting them for individuals that could find you out, and then you submit them on their behalf to the relevant parties and so forth?
Absolutely. My number is 916-4020. If anyone wants to call me, I can pick up applications. We also have an online petition, so if people are on Facebook or online, they can go in and sign. We encourage people who are signing online or petitioning to make a comment saying why they're objecting. Apparently, Cabinet encourages people's comments as why they're objecting. It has more substance. Right. And there is going to be a town hall meeting next Tuesday. I think Mr. Bush may have mentioned this already. Next Tuesday, the 20th of November at, is it 7 p.m.?
Yeah.
At 7 p.m. So we really encourage everybody.
At the West Bay Town Hall, at the school hall.
Yes.
Wonderful. Not
just West Bayers, but everybody. This will affect Cayman as a whole.
Yeah, I agree, because precedents will be set. We got to go and take a little break right now, but when we come back, we're going to get a little bit more details from these individuals in the studios, Mrs. Laura Eggleshaw, and also we have Emily Bernie Bush as well, talking about a Coastal Works application to remove seagrass and also construct a dock in the Barkers area. And I guess under that thing, too, we was try to find out what was and if there is indeed a national park.
This hour of Cayman Crosstalk is powered by Subway. Subway. With 6 locations across Cayman, you know it makes sense to choose Subway. Subway. Eat fresh. Eat delicious. More of Cayman Crosstalk is next on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
From happy beginnings and life choices that we make along the way,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
Health insurance with far-reaching benefits.
Family protection and long-term financial plans.
Business insurance and generous employee benefits.
For happy beginnings to happy ever after, visit BritK.ky.
Brit K, where people come first.
Fresh fir Christmas trees are on their way to Hurley's. Our containers arrive from the forests of Quebec on November the 24th. These fresh, fragrant balsam firs won't last long. If you plan on having a tree in your home, order yours today. There's a shortage of trees coming to the island this year. Make sure your family has a green Christmas. Order your tree today at hurleys.ky/ordering. Hurley's, get fresh trees with us.
Fresh at Hurley's.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
More revelations from the NRA illegal dumping. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories for the Cayman 27 newsroom. A Water Authority Cayman report reveals the National Road Authorities illegally discharged well waste at 4 roadside locations in Grand Cayman for a period of roughly 8 years. The report concludes that the waste mainly consists of water and inert materials and is mainly inorganic. The metals detected in water sampling, including iron and aluminum, which exceeded Florida standards, cannot be directly linked to well cleaning materials. The report also said that heavy rainfall flushing debris into the wells could include known carcinogens like arsenic. And in other news today, finalization of Cayman's integrated solid waste management system has been delayed. Government says it now is expected to have shovels in the ground by late 2019. According to a statement issued on Wednesday, the preferred bidder is still negotiating technical, financial, and legal matters. And finally today, government has sealed the deal on the purchase of Scranton Community Park. On Wednesday, the Premier, Alden McLaughlin, told the MLAs in the Legislative Assembly the purchase was completed last month. He says government paid just under $273,000. He says government also moved to purchase an adjoining parcel of land to expand the current community park. For more news on these stories and others, you can click on our website at Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Happy Thursday to all of you. If you're just tuning in right now, I have the Honorable Deputy Speaker of the House in the studios, MLA Bernie Bush from West Bay, and he has brought a concerned citizen with him, Miss Laura Eggleshaw, Nee Powery. Yes, we still have that West Bay blood up in there. And we're talking about the Coastal Works application that was put in the newspaper, I believe was last week. And the Coastal Works application, in a nutshell, is asking to remove a section of turtle grass. In addition, the construction and erection of a dock facility within the Barkers area. And Mrs. Eggleshaw is asking individuals, if you have an objection to this, to make sure that you lodge your objections immediately, post haste with the ministry. That would be the ministry of what, Laura?
It's cabinet. It's not planning.
Cabinet.
Yeah.
Send it to cabinet.
Troy Jacobs.
And attention to Mr. Troy Jacobs, cabinet. And if you can't do that, she will give you her contact details. She'll be willing to probably even come by maybe and collect your applications, your objections, and so forth, and submit them on your behalf, because you have, according to law, by notification period, 21 days, and you don't want to be left out if you have an objection to that. And if you want to discuss this, you can call in 233-1019, 233-1019, and also you can WhatsApp as well, which is 324-1019, and those are making some comments as well on our Facebook page, which is Cayman Crosstalk. Honorable Deputy Speaker, I got someone on the line. Can you all put your ears on for me, please? Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Mr. Woody.
Hey, good morning, doctor.
Good morning to your guests.
Good morning.
Pleasant good morning, Mr.
Good morning. Steve McField here. Woody, I just called to try to give you some support in the statement that you made about Section 19 of the Constitution. But Woody, I think I don't know how many years now, you and I and some other people like Mr. Gilbert McLean and Mr. Samamba and all those people have been advocating for the supremacy of the Constitution, you know, to put it in its place where it's supposed to be. But Woody,
yes, sir.
The words in Section 19 Sections 117, Section 119 don't mean anything to the MLAs who are elected. They are only words on official paper. They have no meaning to them. Because if they had meaning to them, they would be advocating for the Constitution to be applied in their country, to which they have the ability and they have been elected by the people to supervise. Those words don't mean a thing to the MLAs, because half of them don't understand the Constitution, and the other half, if they understand it, if they read it, do not understand what it means. So what it to expect them to stand against something that is going to cause an environmental impact and destroy the environment, that doesn't mean anything to them. It doesn't mean a doggone thing to them, would it? They could destroy the country. And as long as they're getting the money from the people, they don't care. They really don't care. Whether it's Dart or Mr. Hart or Mr. Longs or Mr. Kidneys, they don't even care. And that's the problem that we're in. Because when you hear the quality of the debates and the questions at question time in the LA, it's appalling. It's really appalling. And so the first thing that you should be advocating, Woody, that I have been advocating, and that other people have been advocating, is there should be some sort of school to educate these people who represent us about the parliamentary systems of the legislative system, because you don't even understand how they work. So to talk about the jurisdiction and Section 19 and all of those things, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Not one of them have gone up to the Legislative Assembly and say, we want to have the standard of public life put into place. And not one of them has gone up and said, we want to have the district council put into place, or we are going to shut down the Legislative Assembly until the Constitution is put into its proper place. The Constitution don't mean nothing to them. Whether it has been the Compass or the CNS, that I think the words that they say that they publish means more to them than what the Constitution means, the highest law in the land. So what you should be advocating to them is for some sort of school that they can get the basics, because they do not even know the basics. That's what I have to say this morning to you. Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, and I will address that, and I will simply say that we do have an attorney general that knows better, and that has taken a vow to the courts, and has also not only taken a vow to the courts, but under, I believe it's Section 125, has taken a vow to the people of the Cayman Islands to uphold the Constitution as well, and it is his obligation to make certain that whomever has been elected and been granted the blessing of being in the privilege of being in that seat will be well versed in the Constitution and the whole entire charter thereof. I'm going to take a little quick break, but when we come back, we're going to continue this discussion, and we want to give out some more contact details. I got some WhatsApp messages and some social media messages that came in, Mrs. Eggleshaw, to find out specific details. People want to find out if there's a petition, where they could find it, if there's a website, if there's a Instagram page, if there's whatever it may be. There's a whole lot of things coming in that asking those details so that they can get a hold of that. And they have 21 days, ladies and gentlemen, to file your application. And I just want to say on behalf of Dr. McPhail, the reason why I articulated that Section 19 and so forth and precedents is that you want to make sure that when you do your application, not just because it's an emotional thing, but you want to cite sections within law and Constitution that they cannot argue against. So when you do make your application and you make your objection, cite those things as well as part and parcel of those objections. If not, emotions really cannot be considered in a lot of these applications.
This hour of Cayman Crosstalk is powered by Subway. Subway, with 6 locations across Cayman, you know it makes sense to choose Subway. Subway, eat fresh, eat delicious. More of Cayman Crosstalk is next on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
Let Elite Marble and Granite bring the charm of Italy to your home. Made from only the best materials. Santa Margherita Quartz is handcrafted at a state-of-the-art facility located in Italy and then journeys across the ocean to Elite Marble and Granite, who is the exclusive distributor in the Caribbean. Elegant and resistant, Santa Margherita Quartz products offer a large choice of colors, textures, and exclusive finishes. Call 945-9028 or visit us online at elite.ky. Elite Marble and Granite, where perfection costs less.
Eclipse Hair Design and Day Spa. Discover the difference.
Sometimes having a middleman is not a bad thing, especially when it comes to insurance. Do you know that when it comes to cost, ease, speed, and peace of mind, insurance brokers ranked higher than when customers buy direct? So, for all your insurance needs, call Fidelity Insurance. We're the middleman you want. Call us today at 949-7822. Fidelity. We're good for you.
/public_health.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is your weather forecast for today. You're going to have a gorgeous day today. You're going to have a high of 84. They say the real feel may be hovering around about 95 degrees. That's the heat index. It's going to be partially sunny and pleasant. The winds are going to be softly coming at you at the north-northeast at 6 miles per hour, and that's going to continue that northeasterly direction, clicking up just a little bit, about 10 miles per hour this evening. So that's going to cool your surface temperatures down to about 80 degrees. They say the real feel temperature may be around about 83. You have a 61% chance of experiencing showers tonight. As we told you yesterday, there's a frontal trough coming down from the Yucatan Peninsula that is going to be affecting your area tonight, tomorrow, and possibly Friday as well. And so tonight's going to be partly cloudy with some showers, and sunrise this morning was at 6:33. Sunset will be at 5:47. You got 11 hours and 14 minutes of beautiful tropical sun to enjoy. You have a different forecast pattern for tomorrow, which is going to be including some clouds, sun, and a few showers. That's going to continue Saturday. And as the frontal trough goes over and the wind pick up, maybe Sunday and Monday will be gorgeous days for all of you. But you're in the Cayman Islands. Every day is a pretty day. Join me back with MLA Bernie Bush, along with concerned citizen, Mrs. Laura Elgashaw, and we're joined by Thunderous Thursdays voice himself, MLA Kenneth Bryan, as well.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk. by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, these people up here with Burning, and I'm honestly, I feel like when I'm in between Burning and Kenneth, oh my goodness gracious, feel like I'm back in school. Here's a live read I got to do for all of you for a wonderful fly carrier. I love my Cayman Airways. And it says, whether you're a visitor or a resident, come one, come all. This Saturday, November the 17th, a new exhibit titled Cayman Airways, celebrating 5 decades of connecting the Cayman Islands with the world, will be opening at the National Museum. The National Museum, which is also celebrating its anniversary, is hosting a special Lokia event from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., featuring Cayman arts, crafts, and much, much more. Remember, that's going to be on Goring Avenue, will be closed from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. this Saturday to facilitate the event. Admission to the museum is my favorite word, absolutely free during the event for the launch of the Cayman Airways exhibit. Remember, Saturday, November the 17th, from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. is going to be a gorgeous day. Cayman Airways, celebrating 5 decades of connecting the Cayman Islands with the world, will be opening at the National Museum. And I'm joined, like I said, by MLA Bernie Bush, concerned citizen, Mrs. Laura Eggleshaw, and also we got MLA Kenneth Bryan from Central Georgetown in the studios as well. Mrs. Eggleshaw, we got a lot of social media coming in, wanting to find out the details as follows: where they could find the online petition, where they can submit their written applications, and one has just submitted. Would you create a formed application so that people can simply sign as an objection, like a template that they can sign? A lot of people don't want to think of a lot of things, but maybe they feel the same way that you feel, and they'll simply sign it, and you can submit it on their part. So they would like your contact details and find out if you can help them, maybe visit them and so forth. There are some persons that may be senior, but still online.
Absolutely. I said earlier, my number is 916-4020. Feel free to call me if you can't get about or if you don't have a computer. If you do, we have the online petition on Facebook. It's www.change.org/p/Cayman-Islands-government-save-Barkers-beach. That's a bit long, but I think if you just go online on Facebook, you will find it. If you just simply search for Save Barkers Beach, it'll just come up. But call me if you need me to come and deliver your letter for you, or to maybe explain what's happening. That's fine. Otherwise, email Troy Jacobs, which is troy.jacobs@gov.ky, or call him at 244-2466. And I just wanted to add that Cayman has been very cultural when it comes to seafaring and our history. Our grandparents were very dedicated to preserving our environment. In fact, they would go as far as Mosquito Key to turtle. They wouldn't fish or overfish or turtle around the area. They would protect our natural environment, which is what we, I think, are obligated to do the same. It doesn't matter what industry we're in. I think it's really important to adhere to the culture that we were brought up with and that we were taught to do. So please, if you have any questions, call me or call Troy at 244-2466.
And, MLA Bush, I got to ask you, though. And I know you don't skirt from any kind of questions. And I'm always straight up with you. I think you and I have had that relationship for as long as we
can remember.
Sir, I understand through the Marl Road, not the online portal, but the Marl Road in West Bay and so forth. As you're driving in, the Marl Road dust is flying and saying that an MLA is behind, maybe one of the beneficial owners, behind an application or behind a business that is going to go or planning and proposing to be within the Barkers area. Will that be you?
Absolutely not. I give you my word. I have nothing to do with any business except being an MLA. I have no outside business. I have nothing, and I have nothing in the works where you can say that I'm planning on doing this. If it's an elected member, something you're referring to, the small road, I give the country and the public my word is I have nothing whatsoever to do with Barkas. Nothing to do with, except trying to defend it. I go up there almost every Easter. I drive that and look at my people up there camping out and enjoying themselves. And I'd like to say thanks to the people who allow them to do it on their property.
Mm-hmm.
A special thank you, but it's become part of our culture. It's, once again, part of our culture. And I grew up, I spent enough time up there myself as a boy. Like you said, we used to go up, when we used to leave on the bay and go up there, we were in heaven.
Yep.
Because different from on the bay. Everybody else want to come out on the bay, but we want to go inland. And when Lauren and the people down at Boston Bay called me for the meeting to meet them on Monday morning, and I was shown this, I was very shocked. I was surprised to know that something like this was in the works. But I will put my ear to the ground as well to see what I can find out. What else? At least you have to give Mr. Whitaker his respect as due, and that at least he put his in the newspaper and he's up front with what he's attempting to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's respect. At least he's not going behind any closed doors. But it's something that I realized that a lot of these establishments, and I won't call it any of them yet, when they're presenting things to planning and to government and to the Cayman Islands, they do it piece. They don't ever show you their big, grand picture of where they want to go with the thing. And they'll give you one little piece here, and they'll get the toe in the door, and then they'll get the next little piece, and they keep adding on, going on. And there seems to be no limit to what we will continue to approve. And there comes a time where you have to stand. And I think we should have stood a long time ago on a lot of different applications. But Caymanians, we have always been the type of people we welcome and I heard someone say it quite eloquently the other day. He says, I'm 73 years old. He says, we welcome everybody here with open arms. But now they're kicking us in our stomach and punching us in our face. And we still open our arms and welcoming them and talking about Caymankind. At some time or other, we have to say enough is enough. Yes, I agree. We cannot get something for nothing. But let's do it within reason. Let's do it in a sensible way that it will benefit not only us. We've lived more than half our lives. I have children. I now have grandchildren. We have to think about them. Like Laura said, our parents and them thought about a lot of things. When you look back and you say to yourself, you wonder why they did certain things, you realize it was protecting the environment. And they did it for us. So we have to do it for our children. We have to do it for our grandchildren. It's as simple as that.
All right. Mrs. Eggleshaw, I know that time is not on our side this morning, but I invite you back at any given opportunity to discuss this even further, because after all, if they submitted an application again, you got 21 days to make sure that you lodge your application or your complaint against the application. And anything after that 21-day period, I can tell you the attorneys on the other side will simply act for those to be excluded from any consideration by those that are making the decision on these coastal work licenses. That's just a fact. I've lived it. I've understood it. And so I just want to make sure that people understand that as well.
Yes.
So closing words.
I'm here. I'm available. Please call me. And I'd also like to stress that Mr. Bernie Bush represents that particular area. So for me, environmentally, it's not a political thing. It's an environmental thing. But I support Mr. Bush and any other politician who wants to protect Cayman's environment. It has nothing to do with politics, but it's an environmental issue, which actually everything in Cayman actually tends to fall into politics in some sense. So it's a small place. We need to preserve it, and we need to get our facts and get the information. So please call me, and please call Mr. Troy Jacobs at 244-2466. And follow us on Facebook, Save Barker's Beach. Thank you.
And make it a point to come out next Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock, West Bay Primary School Hall. Please come out and hear when the group puts together and shows you these things. And once again, I'd like to say a very special thank you to Mr. Kenneth Bryan, who once again gave us his time. And Kenneth, we really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much.
One last request, Mrs. Eggleshaw, for your number. We got 3 that just popped in. Please ask her to repeat her number.
Okay, my cell phone number is 916-4020.
All right. And I just want to sincerely thank you all. And Mr. Bush, if I may ask, as part of the presentation for the meeting next week, could you find out and establish what is indeed the Barkers National Park, if there was any at all?
Okay, thank you.
I would like to find that out. We got a couple of callers online. Emily Bryan, do you mind if we take a couple of callers? Hello, caller.
Good morning.
Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Hi, my name is Nicole Aldemeyer, and a lot of people know me. I do have a business on Barker's Beach, and I've been riding horses out there for 25 years, and it is my livelihood. And that beach is a little piece of heaven that should never, ever be destroyed.
Thank you.
So I'm going to kind of drop that in for a minute because I do run a business, but it's not about me and it's not about my business. What I want to talk about is the law. Okay, so if a ship or a yacht comes into Georgetown Harbor and drops an anchor and destroys coral, what happens to them?
Yeah, they're fine.
They get in trouble. So what gives our government the right? First of all, they charge, I think it was Sir Branston.
No, that was the late Paul Allen.
Right. They charge him oodles of money for destroying our reef. What gives them the right to go and do the same things that they fined people in court for doing? How can they come along and destroy all the reefs when they have a law that they actually take people to court and fine them for doing the same thing they want to do? Nobody seems to have ever said this on talk show that I've heard of. These are laws in place to protect our coral reef, and our government wants to go onto a harbor in Georgetown to do the same destruction that they charge somebody in court, which maybe they could turn around and sue the government. It's like, how can you charge me and you're also doing the same thing? No, Barker's Beach. Barker's Beach is a national, a marine, it's a national park, so whatever. Not taken care of. Nobody cares about it. It's all about money. Nobody cares about the garbage and stuff on Barker's. All they see is money signs, right? So Barker's Beach, that is a marine park, right? Now, they arrest people daily out there for breaking the laws in the marine park. Now, what gives anybody else the right to come out there and break the laws? Destroying the marine park that we have laws in place to protect.
That's a great
These
question.
are laws. These are not Caymanian people doing a petition. These are laws that we have to protect our marine environment, and they go out there daily and arrest these West Bay people that just want a conch and a lobster to eat and put them in jail, but yet Dart can come along with his Tiki Beach and his Calico Jack and destroy the environment, and that's okay. So I would like to know what, if anybody knows, these laws are in place to protect everything we have, but yet other people with money, foreigners with money, it's okay for them to destroy and go against the laws. And I'm going to leave you guys with that.
Can I just say that that's a great question, and I think the people in Cayman need to go to Cabinet, speak to Cabinet, communicate with them, and demand our democratic right when it comes to preserving our laws.
We have laws in place to protect all of these things, but because foreigners come here and they want to make oodles of money off of us, and they don't care about us or our children or our grandchildren or anything except those big dollar signs. And on top of it, the cruise ship people have been coming here for many years going to Barker's Beach. Dart does not want cruise ship people on Barker's Beach. He has his Seafire. He's building his Four Seasons. He has everything he wants on Barker's Beach, and he does not want cruise ship people on Barker's Beach. On 7 Mile Beach. He wants cruise ship people to go to Barker's Beach. Now, what's going to happen is all the cruise ship people are going to start dropping complaints about the beach that they have to go on in the Cayman Islands, and all the other years they came here, they were on 7 Mile Beach. Now they have to go to Barker's Beach, which is not nice swimming like 7 Mile Beach. And that is going to ruin our tourism product. So here we are, putting our arms open. Cayman kind, we're such wonderful people. And like you said, these people are destroying us slowly. And we just sit there and fall into the crab hole and go, oh, well, we need to be nice. It needs to stop. It really, really needs to stop. And I'm sorry every day for my Caymanian people that are being squished into the crab hole by these wealthy foreigners. And there it is in a nutshell. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Thank you very much.
And Woody, make me say something about that caller. She may be a year older than me, if that much. There's one thing about her. She's never been political, and she's been consistent. She's always been about this country, and she's always been about the people. She has always been, you know where she stands. She's not a hypocrite, and she's not political. Tell the world I say so. And to hear her calling, it tells you how bad it's gotten. And I want to say kudos to her, because there's a lot of people feeling that way. But a lot of people are afraid that if they open their mouth, if they sign a petition, they're going to be victimized. And people don't realize the level of victimization in this country. And the more and more we allow people to monopolize things, the worse it will get. As plain and simple as that. But I'm going to tell people, I say this every time I come on this radio, those of you who have come here and acquired Cayman citizenship, you're now a Caymanian. Please stop paddling a different direction from us. Get into the boat with us. Help those of us who have not been brought along by this country. Because it's no hidden story that this country has been advanced and the people have not. Our education system is not failing. It has failed. And I have to take my hat off and say kudos to the new education councils and to Miss Julie for having the foresight to do that and giving them the space to do their thing, to try to straighten this mess up. And who don't like that, well, I'm entitled to my opinion. But like I said, this is one time the facts will show that once again my opinion is right. Because I come on here all the time and I don't really get into arguments with people. I make people say what they have to say and I go ahead. No one sets my agenda except when I get a call from these groups like this. When they call me, it's my job to go and it's my job to represent. I'm here. I'm happy that they called me. I'm happy when I say, and when I talk to everyone is saying the same thing. Enough is enough. But what you said just now really has me perturbed when you would say that there's a mile road hard, because there's never smoke without fire, that there's an elected member who has a potential business to go up there or to do something up there. And I'm hoping it's not so. But if it is so, I do hope it will come to the fore. I hope it will come to light very soon. And the people of West Bay, or the people of this country, can see what's happening or what's going on. Because it has to stop sometime. There has to be a limit. And I have to give the lady who called in just now her props. And what she's saying is 100% right. As you know, the argument is going on right now about the port. That's the hot item. But, and this is just another one to add on to it, but it's one thing when yourself, I think it was yourself, asked the cruise line people, if this dock is not built, will you all continue to come here? And they said, yes, which, you know, as before had been said, if the dock is not built, they will not come. That's what had been said before. Am I correct?
You're absolutely correct. It goes all the way back to 2006, that if we don't build a dock now, we're going to lose the same amount. It seems like the old scorecard has just been blown off.
Just different people talking it now. Yeah. But what she said just now, I want people to listen carefully. If what she's saying is that they want to take the people off of the 7 Mile Beach, and remember, I've said this publicly on this radio before. Instead of concentrating on a dock so quick, let us enhance what we have to give when the tourists come, to give them a product that is quality, a product that is also not mashing up our country. Let's make it well-rounded. We have time. Let's put everything in place to do it correctly. That when people come, if they come on the cruise ship, even though statistics show it's not a big money thing to us, stay over tourists who really do a big help to our economy more than anybody else. Mm-hmm. But I guess the money from the stay over tourists is spread around too much in the country and not just with 2 or 3 people like the cruise ships, I guess. I don't know. But what she said just now, people should pay attention to. If you want to move people off the 7 Mile Beach, which is our jewel, which is our diamond, and move them up on Barcus Beach, the product that the people are going to come ain't going to be that good. Because up there, they hate the Barcus. When it comes to what tourists look for, it's nothing like that 7 Mile Beach. Mm-hmm. And that makes a lot of sense. So in the long run, trying to move people from our 7 Mile Beach up there is not a good thing. I'd never thought that before, and I must give that's food for thought.
And especially if you're going to take a big old $300 million loan out. Here's something I got for you.
There are benefits that we see by having the new or large class ships coming to Grand Cayman. We'll still continue to come here, but what we're saying is there aren't any threats. We're just saying we'd like the opportunity, if it makes sense, and this all comes together, to be able to bring those larger ships here.
If it makes sense, and there's no threat, and 60% of their new ships are being built are the same size class that are coming here now. So the bull crap that the larger Oasis class is outnumbering the smaller ships is bullcrap.
Thank you very much. And Laura, once again, I want to say to you.
You want to get her peaked with, because that's her little push button too.
Laura, but I want to say to people I want to say to Laura and more Caymanians, we need more Caymanians like Laura, and how I saw them when they called me Monday morning. She's done her homework and everything. Respect to you. Don't give up. At least I know I'll be fighting with you. I don't know who else. And I know that the man to his right also is this whole thing's like this dear to his heart. And with the pounding he's taking, I know he's going to keep on fighting as well, because it only makes him stronger. But thank you, Laura.
And thanks to my Powery family and all of our families that have met and are promoting this. Please, as to recap, follow us on Facebook, Save Barker's Beach, speak to Mr. Troy Jacobs, and for the last word, I'd like to say I'd like people to visualize that whether you're fishermen or developers or business owners, if you change the environmental infrastructure of Cayman, it's going to have a big impact on you regardless. If we deplete the seagrass and the environment that the nurseries have, that the fish, the marine life have, the fishermen will have to go further and further away to fish. And we need to support Department of Environment 100% so that they have more... I suppose.
More support, advocate.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Laura, I just want to sincerely thank you, and I look forward to hearing more of an update. We're going to start off Thunderous Thursdays because there's a lot to talk about as well. The Scranton Park has been acquired, but Emily and Brian didn't have one scintilla of any assistance with that one. So it should be a great, wonderful discussion. 233-1019. We still got people on the line, but we're going to transition right now.
The opinions expressed by Cayman Crosstalk, its hosts, callers, or guests are not those of Hurley's Media or its sponsors.
Now, from the Cayman 27 News Team, here are your latest news headlines. Brought to you by the Cayman Pharmacy Group with West Bay Pharmacy, Savannah Pharmacy, and Professional Pharmacy. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Visit them today. Now, here's your news headlines. More revelations from the NRA illegal dumping. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories for the Cayman 27 newsroom. A Water Authority Cayman report reveals the National Road Authorities illegally discharged well waste at 4 roadside locations in Grand Cayman for a period of roughly 8 years. The report concludes that the waste mainly consists of water and inert materials and is mainly inorganic. The metals detected in water sampling, including iron and aluminum, which exceeded Florida standards, cannot be directly linked to well cleaning materials. The report also said that heavy rainfall flushing debris into the wells could include known carcinogens like arsenic. And in other news today, finalization of Cayman's integrated solid waste management system has been delayed. Government says it now is expected to have shovels in the ground by late 2019. According to a statement issued on Wednesday, the preferred bidder is still negotiating technical, financial, and legal matters. And finally today, government has sealed the deal on the purchase of Scranton Community Park. On Wednesday, the premier, Alden McLaughlin, told the MLAs and the Legislative Assembly the purchase was completed last month. He says government paid just under $273,000. He says government also moved to purchase an adjoining parcel of land to expand the current community park. For more news on these stories and others, you can click on our website at Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27. More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
The countdown is on for Cayman 27's Parade of Lights, brought to you by Bogle Insurance Brokers Limited. Enjoy this annual boat parade as the water comes to life at Camana Bay Harbor with this year's theme, Christmas Around the World. Don't miss Cayman's largest family gathering as we kick off the 2018 holiday season. Saturday, December 1st, starting at 6 p.m. at Camana Bay. Fireworks brought to you by Brit K.
Whether you want to get going in a new car, to relax at home while you pay bills on your mobile banking app, to get the best rewards with your credit card, or to get a sure start on your little one's future. Whether you want a quick response on your loan, or just a range of services that keep your business running smoothly, you want banking that fits your life. CIBC First Caribbean. Banking that fits your life.
Let Seaboard bring the world to you. We offer the best shipping rates and service to and from Grand Cayman with over 35 shipping routes, full container shipping from Miami, Brooklyn, Houston, and Jamaica, plus small package shipments from Miami and Jamaica. You name it, and Seaboard will ship it. Our excellent warehouse facilities in Miami mean you can consolidate your goods to save yourself time and money. For shipping made easy, call or visit our website today. Shipping shore to shore. Seaboard.
Shipping shore to shore.
Lunch lady of the past and lunch lady of the future.
We're dyeing our hair.
Yeah, now move it, George. I need the sun to cook the juices, and your head's making an eclipse.
I smell barbecue and hair. You must be done.
What color are you dyeing your hair?
We're putting red streaks in it.
Mom, can you talk to me before you start painting my kids?
Remember when you were 13 and you shaved your head? Now we're even.
Morning, part of your day. If you're just tuning in right now, we have now MLA Kenneth Bryan from the Electoral District of Central Georgetown in the studios. And I got to say it, I tell you the truth, the studios got a little more intense. And I got to ask, the reason why it got intense, I got to ask MLA Bryan, and I made him put it in the news, to be honest with you. MLA Bryan, I got the press release yesterday, and I had a business meeting I was in. And I'll tell you the truth, I got so entranced and entranced into the press release that was immediately, I mean, almost immediately, as soon as it was delivered, was sent to all media houses. It shows how uber important it is, and shows that you're actually rubbing the very thin skin of the premier in an awkward way that he's getting agitated. But I say that to say this. The release that came out, you got what you needed. You fought for your people. But the premier has said Kenneth Bryan, in essence, didn't have one thing to do with the acquisition of the property within the Scranton community area. That was well on the way from Honorable Minister Kurt Tibbetts' time. The government at that time gave him permission to acquire property, albeit it was a different parcel, but still this parcel was considered as well, and they didn't want to sell at that immediate juncture. And so they've been working on this thing for quite a long while, even though it's been protracted, and they didn't realize that, and you can read the press release. If anyone wants to question it, I'll have it on Facebook. But the press release simply said that they told the owners that when they were willing to sell, kind of let them know because they were interested. And obviously, they didn't let them know and found out, I guess, vis-a-vis maybe you or maybe the paper. I would think it was probably you because you brought it up here. You were pissed off because
I brought
the
it up
sign was on the property and you were like, this can't happen. What happened? And so it's not unreasonable to say that they found out vis-a-vis you and then moved immediately, post-haste, to try to acquire property, but it was long and protracted. And they paid 272,000 CI dollars for a quarter of an acre of land. Two things come from that. One, congratulations for your residents. Now have a common ground that is owned by the government and hopefully will be vested there for a long, long while. And only the governor can really vest lands until we go independent, and hopefully that won't be anytime soon. But secondly, kudos to the people of Scranton because their property value just increased.
That's the whole point.
And to pay $272,000 for a quarter of an acre of land in that immediate area, I'm saying thank you. Equity values just increased.
Good morning, Woody, and good morning to your listening audience all over the world, particularly here in the Cayman Islands, particularly in Georgetown Central and Cayman Brac. Good morning to you. Hopefully the sun is shining just as beautiful in the Brac as it is here in Grand Cayman and Little Cayman. Yes, Woody, you brought up a very good point. That's one of the highlights of yesterday's proceedings in the Legislative Assembly. But I think what you were trying to highlight there is the political element of a purchase that I've requested from government through the cabinet and publicly for the government to acquire this piece of property. And is there a level of politics to avoid the fact that I was trying to get the government to do that? Yes. Am I surprised? No. Am I still happy? Very much so, because for me, it's irrelevant whether he wants to give any credit or acknowledgement that I was involved in the process trying to get this thing done. All that matters to me is the people of Georgetown Central get the park that they deserve. So I know I didn't expect any different. I didn't expect him to mention my name or anything like that. I mean, I put this request in close to a year ago to the cabinet as a representative of the people of the Cayman Islands. I haven't had a decency even of an email response. So I'm not surprised, and I'm okay with that. If at the end of my term that we get a beautiful park there, that the people in that community can be utilized for function and events, like when we have our Christmas dinner, our Mother's Day dinner, our Father's Day dinner that we do every year, then I'm be happy. I really don't care who gets the credit for it. If the premier wants to take credit for it, that's fine, because ultimately my people win. I'm not in it for that purpose. But this is phase one of an overall plan for me and for the persons in that community. Now that we know that that property now belongs to the people, and I want to make sure that this is clear, now that the government has purchased that land now belongs to the people of the Cayman Islands. So it's Crown property. The second phase, which is very important to this, is for the government to agree to give a peppercorn lease to the Georgetown Central or Central Scranton Community Committee, a peppercorn lease to use that property, because technically speaking, there's no permission at this particular point other than the one before with the previous owner who gave it verbally to said, go ahead. Now that it's Crown property, I want it to be official. I want the government to give them a peppercorn lease so we can go ahead and do our improvements. Another thing that I would like to announce is that the Central Scranton Community Committee has now gone out and they've acquired their nonprofit license, which is very, very important. And I want to say congratulations to the committee, which is chaired up by Mr. Dale Ramon, a very capable chairman who's been doing so much for that community for decades, not years, decades. And the Ramon family, the Seymour family, the Macfields family, a lot of hardcore Georgetowners who've been committed to that committee for years when nobody else is doing anything. They're constantly out there working hard. I had a true chance over the last few months to be involved in some of their events and function, their commitment. And I just blow my mind. They're like, listen, they don't get a penny for any of this. They're just committed to community involvement. And I love you, members, for that. And I truly start to understand what community work is about. So credibility to you. But stage 2 of this plan now that government has acquired it, is well, actually, stage 1 was to get the nonprofit license. That committee has successfully done that, and congratulations to them. Stage 2 was government acquiring the property. That is done now. Now, stage 3 is for government to give the peppercorn lease to the committee in the nonprofit organization. Because stage 4 then is for us to go out and find the monies necessarily once we have the authority to use the park and redevelop it the way we think is best for the community in the area. Find those monies and get them donated and request, and maybe even do some raffling to raise some money. And that was that was the little tricky one that I threw in there. Maybe do some raffles now that we're a nonprofit organizations to raise some monies to do over the park. And
I got some ideas.
All right, I want to stay focused. That was a little joke I just threw in there, and that joke has the reference to the whole fact of gambling and raffles are two different things. Apparently, I don't necessarily agree with that, but so we can start fundraising. And I want to say publicly that there have been some people in the community who's already said, Kenneth, if you get these things lined up, like the permission to do things on the property, if you get a nonprofit where we can show that the financials are going to be audited and handled appropriately, then they'll donate the money. And I'm happy about that because one of the things that was difficult for me for the committee before was they were just a committee of concerned citizens together. It was just an ad hoc group. Just ad hoc group, but who've been so valuable to the community over these years. And then people who want to give a substantial donation, say, listen, I'm going to write you a check for $10,000. They don't want to just give it to an ad hoc group. Now that we have over that hurdle and all the steps are starting to come in place, the dreams of Georgetown Central National Community Park is coming to life. And regardless, the government can do this two ways. And either way, I'm happy. They can take it all over themselves if they want to and pretend like I'm not even there. That's fine. My people still succeed. But if you don't want to do that, just make sure that the community committee gets the peppercorn lease, and I'll go find what is necessary to get it done. All I want is my people in Georgetown Central is to get that park, get what they truly deserve. And you highlighted a very good point. We get that park revitalized and brought up to good property standings. Everybody's land value around the community goes up. Mm-hmm. You know, and we have so much developments around us. It helps those people in that community because those properties are their retirement funds, if you dare say, and the thing that they always want to leave to their grandchildren so they have something or what have you. And they access gazettes of where that property is located right behind the government building and gazettes that show where there's going to be eventually, according to the gazettes and the previous road plans, that there was going to be a connecting road from Elgin Avenue to Shedden Road. So it can work well with a future national park. And I'm excited. Now, going back to the comment by the premier, he also acknowledges the fact that there's great potentials there. And I think he stole that from me because we were on the radio talking about it just last week, saying that, you know, the opportunities are endless and that what we can do with the park and all that.
Even from when you brought it over a year ago, you expressed all the things that you had envisioned. But we have to recognize you can't expect any different from the administration. I'm their opposition. They're not going to sit there and praise me. So we have to recognize that, right? So it's not a surprise. But ultimately, I feel empowered. I feel happy this morning. I'm happy for the committee that we're moving in the right direction. So let's see the next chess move, if I dare say, from a political perspective. And that next chess move is this. The committee, I spoke to the Honorable Juliana O'Connor-Conley, and I want to say thank you so much to her because she's given me some guidance as to what to do next. And what we have to formally do as a committee now is to write to her in planning, in respect, not planning, lands and survey, in respect to asking that the association, the now non-profit association, is requesting a peppercorn lease for the purposes of X, Y, and Z community events, national park, blah, 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 right? And then she has to bring that to cabinet because how the law works is the cabinet can give permission for under 5 years by themselves without coming to parliament. Anything over 5 years, it has to come to the Legislative Assembly. So we're going to put in, I've spoken to the secretary of the committee
talked about the game plan. The next week, Tuesday, community meeting, I'm going to speak to the rest of the members and say, okay, here's our game plan. Let's see what the government's next chess move is. Because if they don't give it, then you're basically saying, well, you don't want to give us permission to move forward. I don't know. I don't want to assume they're going to be negative. I'm assuming that the government is going to do the right thing and allow that committee, who's been there for decades, close to at least 30-odd years now, working in that community, working hard, committed to the seniors, the disabled, the young, the average, and giving them a community lifestyle in that area. So let's see if they give the peppercorn lease. If they don't, then you see, the politics has changed now in Cayman because we're now doing this in the public. The people are listening, the people are watching, and they're watching the moves of the government. So there's a lot of chess moves, and one of the things that Steve Macfield always told me, he said, Kenneth, you need to understand the political game. And I must say that I'm in full force now, and I understand it. So let's see what will happen.
The blinders are off.
The blinders are definitely off. So let's see what happens, because ultimately, all I care about is that the people of Georgetown Central get that park so they can do the fun things that they can do, that the kids can have a good, safe environment after school. Community events can happen. My seniors at a Christmas party don't have to be worried about if the rain is going to come down on them. We can build a nice kind of theater that we can do presentations and plays. It's a good opportunity to create a park where we can do some of that good Georgetown Central cooking that maybe every Friday the people in the community can know, listen, come here and pick up some food so we can give work to those great cooks in the area. There's so much endless opportunities, and I'm really, really, really excited this morning because now that property, it doesn't belong to the unity government, you know. It belongs to the people of the Cayman Islands. So it's right where I want it to be. So we're going to move forward, and I'm happy. I want to say, and I'm not going to be ungrateful, thanks to the administration that is currently there. They didn't have to buy it. They could have been more spiteful and say, well, you know what, I'm not going to buy it at all. They'll make nothing happen in Georgetown Central. So I'm not going to be ungrateful. Thank you to the cabinet. Thank you to all the members of government for seeing it important to purchase the property. Now, let's move on to stage 4 and give the people of that community the opportunity to create the true park that it needs to be.
Excellent. I got to go and take a break right now, but MLA Brian, I want to ask you a question. Yep. One, obviously at about $24 a square foot for property, that shows equity value because it's not unreasonable, and I say this with the greatest of respect and delicacy. Not delicacy, that's food. You got me thinking of food because I had some of the Ramones.
Do you ever stop thinking about food with it?
Can't look at the size of me, cheese and crackers. But delicately, it's not unreasonable to say that the average Caymanian, especially in that area, but the average Caymanian is cash poor but asset rich.
Yes.
And today,
yes,
all of those owners in that immediate area, their property value in that immediate area went up to $25 a square foot.
And it's going to go up higher once we finish that park.
And I just want to ask you, here's a question when we come back. Maybe you can ponder this. In the press release yesterday, the Premier highlighted that property has been acquired in Red Bay and Prospect for our district parks as well. And how that sounded and how that was articulated or expressed within that press release was that they're planning to outfit those parks and develop those parks. And I'm kind of wondering, would that development that was somewhat expressed or even inferred in his deliverance, would that be done? And would you accept that for Scranton as well? And then the peppercorn lease be issued over? Because if they do it for their own constituencies, it would only be fair, rational, and proportionate and lawful for them to do so for Scranton.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
It's the $7.99. Make the most of your morning at Burger King with Burger King's unbeatable breakfast special. 2 croissants for just $4. Take 2 bacon, egg, and cheese croissants, 2 sausage, egg, and cheese, or mix and match. Add a refreshing OJ or delicious hash browns, plus tea or coffee for a true breakfast of champions. 2 croissants for just $4, available until 10:30 weekdays and 11 a.m. on weekends. Only at Burger King, 7 Mile Beach, Waterfront, Walkers Road, Town Center Plaza, and now Red Bay.
A tropical storm watch has been upgraded to
Hey, I've been tracking the storm, and it's looking really dangerous.
Yeah.
You're in a new place. Gotta prepare.
No, put that down. You need canned goods, not canned
I get it.
soda and
yes,
water.
Sis,
You need plenty
water.
of water.
Here, water. Oh, God. Oh, sorry. I'm just trying to get ready for this.
Is it your first time?
Yes.
Do you need a hurricane buddy?
Please.
All right, come on. I prefer bigger bottles.
Kind of shame it took a hurricane for us to finally hang out.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey, sis, kind of bad time.
Hey, good news. The hurricane warning's been lifted. I saw online the storm has changed direction.
Oh, so I guess you get to go back to your place now.
Where are you? That's not your apartment.
Please pick the flowers.
Bye, neighbor.
Let Elite Marble and Granite bring the charm of Italy to your home. Made from only the best materials. Santa Margherita Quartz is handcrafted in a state-of-the-art facility located in Italy and then journeys across the ocean to Elite Marble and Granite, who is the exclusive distributor in the Caribbean. Elegant and resistant, Santa Margherita Quartz products offer a large choice of colors, textures, and exclusive finishes. Call 945-9028 or visit us online at elite.ky. Elite Marble and Granite, where perfection costs less.
More revelations from the NRA illegal dumping. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories for the Cayman 27 newsroom. A Water Authority Cayman report reveals the National Road Authorities illegally discharged well waste at 4 roadside locations in Grand Cayman for a period of roughly 8 years. The report concludes that the waste mainly consists of water and inert materials and is mainly inorganic. The metals detected in water sampling, including iron and aluminum, which exceeded Florida standards, cannot be directly linked to well cleaning materials. The report also said that heavy rainfall flushing debris into the wells could include known carcinogens like arsenic. And in other news today, finalization of Cayman's integrated solid waste management system has been delayed. Government says it now is expected to have shovels in the ground by late 2019. According to a statement issued on Wednesday, the preferred bidder is still negotiating technical, financial, and legal matters. And finally today, government has sealed the deal on the purchase of Scranton Community Park. On Wednesday, the Premier, Alden McLaughlin, told the MLAs in the Legislative Assembly the purchase was completed last month. He says government paid just under $273,000. He says government also moved to purchase an adjoining parcel of land to expand the current community park. For more news on these stories and others, you can click on our website at Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cayman Crosstalk. I'm just going to do a little live read right now before we get involved with Thunderous Thursdays and MLA Kenneth Bryan that is in the studios. Whether you're a visitor or a resident, come one, come all. This Saturday, November the 17th, a new exhibit titled Cayman Airways, celebrating 5 decades of connecting the Cayman Islands with the world, will be opening at the National Museum. The National Museum, which is also celebrating its anniversary, is hosting a special Lukia event from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m., featuring traditional Cayman arts, crafts, and much, much more. Goring Avenue will be closed from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. this Saturday to facilitate the event. Admission to the museum will be absolutely free during the event for the launch of the new Cayman Airways exhibit, which is, once again, this Saturday, November the 17th. Cayman Airways, celebrating 5 decades of connecting the Cayman Islands with the world, will be opening at the National Museum right in central Georgetown, MLA Kenneth Bryan's electoral district. MLA Bryan, I asked you right before we ended, in the press release that was sent out yesterday, and I went back and looked at it, and I must admit, the press release, he reads well. The Premier reads.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yes.
And thanks to his speech writers, they do a wonderful job for him because he reads very well. So speech writers, good job, Tammy. Give you a big ol' hug. So he read the speech writer's work, and And immediately, because it was almost verbatim what was articulated on the floor, that was sent out as well. Having said that, in that delivery of the acquisition of the Scranton property, with the hopes of creating a park for the Scranton community, he also mentioned that Councillor Harris and the Prospect area and himself, there's going to be parks that are going to be developed in those two electoral districts as well.
Yes.
And how it was inferred within the expression of the written press release and also his articulation, which was from the expressions of the press release. The intent seems like they were and they are going to be developing that park. And I have to ask, what would that mean? Would that be government would be cleaning the park up, developing it to putting playground material, equipment, and so on and so forth within the Prospect and Red Bay area? And if so, I would imagine and I would hope that proportionately, under Section 19 of the law, they would do the same with the Scranton Park and then maybe put it over. Would you be opposed to them developing the park if they're going to do that for their own individual electoral districts?
What a good question. I can't say or be honest, you speculate exactly what he's suggesting in that press release. If in fact that is the intent of the government to spend the monies to develop a park in Red Bay and Prospect, I would be definitely happy for Red Bay and for Prospect because they're Caymanians and they're deserving of community environments as well. But you are right. If the government is going to spend, I would expect that same equal, fair share of monies being spent for my constituents as well. But I can't say that I'm going to sit here and expect that to happen. I know the political process and how things are played out in the game that is played. So I'm not depending on that. At the very least that I want is what we've gotten, which is the purchase of the property, and then now stage 4, which is the peppercorn lease. Because I don't think that the government would be able to justify spending money in Red Bay and in Prospect without spending money in Georgetown Central. I think they know the perception of that publicly. So I don't think they would ever do that. One thing you will give to the Honorable Premier, he's a very strategic man, and he knows what public perception is. So I don't think that will happen. What I would like to see happen, though, because I want Prospect and I want Red Bay to get those parks and those community environments for social behavior and the like, what I would like to see is an opportunity for us to work together, not make it be political. You see, up to this point, I've reached out to the administration asking for assistance in this matter. No communication. I didn't even know the press release was going to come. You would think they'd say, listen, elected member for the area, just letting you know we did purchase it. Everything is good. We'll be announcing it. I didn't even have the decency of that. So I heard it exactly like everybody else in the country. Not surprised, like I said before. But what I would like to do is actually challenge the government this morning. Challenge them because I know they're listening. I challenge you to let's put the politics aside. Let's work hand in hand together. I'm literally reaching my hand out to say, please, let's show the people that we can stand together, work on something that is not supposed to be political, that the people of Georgetown Central can get something that they deserve. Let's work together on this. And when it's picture time or announcement time, you can do all of it. It doesn't matter to me. It would just show something so good for the youth to say, politics aside, that we're going to have arguments and debates and dialogue about different issues and topics. That's natural. But one would say, just like how we have international relations about the UK and the pressure they're putting on us, we stand as a unified front with that. We can use this community park as also a unified front to say, work together. I mean, it's quite sad, to be honest with you, Woody, that you wouldn't even have the decency to let me know that you bought the property. I am the elected member. You may be happy about that. We've had the past campaign and all that. But the very least respectful thing for you to have done was respond to my email. Let me know that you purchased the property. I am the elected person for the area. But this is the sad stuff. I really wish it wasn't that way. And I employ the administration. Let's put that aside. Let's work together. I am going to be the elected member for the next 2.5 years with the good Lord's will. And maybe longer than that, because I intend to work very hard and fight for the people of Georgetown Central and hopefully be elected with their grace again. So let's work together. Let's put the politics aside. So to answer your question, if they're going to be spending money in Prospect and Red Bay, I would want them to. I think the people deserve that. And I expect the exact same thing in Georgetown Central. But if they're not, if they try to play the political game of not trying to make Georgetown Central get the same or equal opportunity, that will not stop Kenneth Bryan. I can promise you that. Because I haven't put my security of my political future and the security of the Georgetown Central Scranton community's future on the basis of hoping that the government will work with me. Because that's unrealistic. That's expecting the sun to shine every single day in the Cayman Islands. So regardless of whether they do it, this is going to be a success. And it's going to happen before this term is up. But it could be done in a more positive way. We can turn this into a positive thing and get it done faster. Ideally, I want to put a timeline on this. I would like that for the summer break of this school term, that on June the 28th, around that time when school breaks out, or early July, I can't remember, around late June or early July when the school breaks, I would like to have that park already completed, that the kids can have a safe zone, that they can go relax and enjoy themselves in an environment that is conducive to the community. I would like to break ground by then. Maybe that's putting it a bit tight because it's only 6 months. But if you're committed, and I know the Georgetown Central Scranton Committee is committed, I can tell you that they will do whatever necessary as long as the hurdles that are there are taken away. And some of those hurdles are like a written permission from cabinet. Go ahead and start your movements. Finding the money, if the government doesn't have it, I'll go beg it. The likes of Darts, the likes of Flowers, the likes of the Fosters, the Kirkernos, everybody, I will be at your doorstep begging money. And I will have the raffles that everybody else is having to make the money happen. I can go to the quarries and say, listen, I need 5 trucks of fill. I'll go to the nurseries and say, I need some plants so our landscaping looks good. I'll go to the LTs and say, listen, I need some lumber because we want to build a structure so we can have events. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll go out there and pull the bush myself. But the good news is, Woody, is that the people in our community want this. And you know what? This really makes me happy, Woody, is when the community gets together. And I can promise you this. Once we make the call to say, folks, we are here, we are ready, here's the plan, let's meet together. Trust me, people are going to come from far just to come and give a helping hand. And I expect, after this Christmas break is done, I'm hoping the maturity of politics will say, Ken, go ahead, you can start the cleaning up process and the planning ideas of what you would like to see there. I expect in January, after all that Christmas is over, that I call, that me and the chairman of the committee and some members can come on this radio show and say, all right, Cayman, we need your help. Meet us at the Georgetown Central Scranton Community Park because we're going to clean it all out and keep it bare, obviously keep all the trees, and then see the lay of the land and start planning. And I can bet you people will come with their gloves, with their machetes, with their backhoes, and the whole works. Because I believe in the Cayman True Happy Story. And there's still a lot of people who are committed to community involvement. And the reason why I want to do that, not just government have an entity or an authority to do it, because the people have to buy into it. If the people build it, if the people are involved in it, they will protect it and they will cherish it and they will do all the things that's necessary to maintain it moving forward. So I want to get that community involvement. As you can tell, my spirits is a bit high this morning because the opportunities are endless and I'm excited about the whole thing. I just want this administration, and I am begging you this, I'll be happy to do it on public TV. I'm begging you. Give this nonprofit organization, the Peppercorn Lease, so we can make this dream a reality. So that's the next step. I know that the administration is listening, so the ball is in your court. But we're almost there. So and again, also, and vice versa, if that same kind of community involvement approach needs to be done in Red Bay, I'll be happy to come up there and assist as well. Because I know all Caymanians want to see these things happen, and in Prospect as well. So this one is not really political. Sometimes the games are played, but it shouldn't be. So from that being said, I know that we don't have loads of time this morning, so I'm going to see if I can switch now the story onto some of the other questions that are gone. But I am excited. Congratulations to the Georgetown Central Scranton Committee. We're on the way to offering up, I'm hoping by Christmas next year, that Christmas event that we have every year is going to be in a new layout, and it's going to be super exciting, and it's going to be fun, and everybody's going to be happy because the people of Georgetown Central Scranton community deserve it. So let's move on.
I got to go and take a little break.
All right.
And when we come back, we're going to continue this. But before we go, we as you know, everybody listens. But someone says, come on, Woodward. You're asking for even post offices and everything in each constituency. No, I'm not. You know, that was one of the arguments when we were going to have single-member constituencies and electoral districts like you, that everybody's going to want their own police station, their own post office, their own playground, their own football field, all of these various different things. I don't think that we're asking that. The simple mere fact is that in the articulation in the budget or the delivery yesterday by the Premier, and I'll quote, if you don't mind.
No,
me.
go ahead.
I'll quote. And I just like fairness.
Yes.
You know that. I want everybody, whoever's on the playing field of life, to have a fair opportunity. I don't care if you come from Scranton or you come from South Sound. I want you to have the fairest opportunity. Whatever effort you put in is what you're going to get out of it. That is my ultimate goal in life. So I don't like this disproportionate crap that we've been living under for the last 50 years of our life in the Cayman Islands. But the Premier has said in his delivery, he says, the Progressives campaign in part on making our community stronger, including through the creation of community youth centers that can provide social, recreational, and counseling services, especially for children after school. And I'm just saying that was said in vain after he was talking about the acquisition of property in Red Bay and Prospect. And so I just want to make certain that same love and that same progressive thing was going to be towards the community of Scranton.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
The Copper Penny. It's been around.
Get the quality, the service, the wide range of products in the BRAC. Everything you love about Paramount Carpets is now available on Cayman BRAC. Carpets, flooring, drywall, paints, windows and doors, lumber, from plumbing to electrical supplies. You'll find it all and a whole lot more at Paramount Carpets, Cayman BRAC.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount Carpets.
The countdown is on for Cayman 27's Parade of Lights, brought to you by Bogle Insurance Brokers Limited. Enjoy this annual boat parade as the water comes to life at Cayman Bay Harbor with this year's theme, Christmas Around the World. Don't miss Cayman's largest family gathering as we kick off the 2018 holiday season. Saturday, December 1st, starting at 6 p.m. at Cayman Bay. Brought to you by Pro Yacht.
Watch as global adventurer and filmmaker Marlon Dara journeys across the world's most beautiful countries and cities. You'll explore breathtaking landmarks, art, and architecture from the Caribbean, Europe, Central and South America, and so much more. Immerse yourself in the local culture, history, and beauty as you follow his endless journeys of adventure every weekday, only on Cayman 27.
Watch as some of the world's most talented people put their skills to the test as they attempt to make their mark in the record books. You'll witness some of the craziest, scariest, most bizarre stunts people will do all in the
primarily around the Georgetown area, but all throughout Cayman Islands. Partly sunny and pleasant is going to be on your forecast. Winds are going to be coming at you from the north-northeast at 6 miles per hour with an occasional gust at about 12, and that direction is going to continue, but dip and increase in speed because there's a low-pressure system that is coming away from the Yucatan Peninsula. That's going to increase your wind speeds to 10 miles per hour, dropping your temperatures down to 80 degrees, but they say the real fuel temperature will be about 83. You're going to have a 61% chance of experiencing some showers tonight. So therefore, synopsis for the nighttime hours is going to be partly cloudy with some showers as well. Sunrise this morning was at 6:33. Sunset will be at 5:47. You got 11 hours and 14 minutes of beautiful sunshine. Your weather forecast is going to change this evening and tomorrow, Friday and Saturday. As that low front from the Yucatan Peninsula hovers over us, you're going to experience a little bit more clouds and a few showers both of the days as well. So we just want to let you know that. But coming back with Thunderous Thursdays with MLA Kenneth Bryan.
The opinions expressed by Cayman Crosstalk, its hosts, callers, or guests are not those of Hurley's Media or its sponsors.
Here are your latest news headlines from the Cayman 27 News Team on Rooster 101's Cayman Crosstalk. Now, here's the news.
More revelations from the NRA illegal dumping. What's up, everyone? I'm Doug Dodds. Here's today's top stories for the Cayman 27 newsroom. A Water Authority Cayman report reveals the National Road Authorities illegally discharged well waste at 4 roadside locations in Grand Cayman for a period of roughly 8 years. The report concludes that the waste mainly consists of water and inert materials and is mainly inorganic. The metals detected in water sampling, including iron and aluminum, which exceeded Florida standards, cannot be directly linked to well cleaning materials. The report also said that heavy rainfall flushing debris into the wells could include known carcinogens like arsenic. And in other news today, finalization of Cayman's integrated solid waste management system has been delayed. Government says it now is expected to have shovels in the ground by late 2019. According to a statement issued on Wednesday, the preferred bidder is still negotiating technical, financial, and legal matters. And finally today, government has sealed the deal on the purchase of Scranton Community Park. On Wednesday, the Premier, Alden McLaughlin, told the MLAs in the Legislative Assembly the purchase was completed last month. He says government paid just under $273,000. He says government also moved to purchase an adjoining parcel of land to expand the current community park. For more news on these stories and others, you can click on our website at Cayman27.ky or watch the news tonight at 6. For Hurley's Media, I'm Doug Dodds. Have a great day.
Be a part of the conversation on Cayman Crosstalk by calling the Superior Auto Hotline, 233-1019, or message us on the Cayman Crosstalk Facebook page. Now, back to Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and simulcast live on Cayman 27.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for tuning in. And if you're just tuning in right now, I just want to recap, and I like to do that at the top of every segment. We have Thunderous Thursdays. With us, we have MLA Kenneth Bryan from the Electoral District of Central Georgetown in the studios with us. And I'm glad to see that he, and I got to say this from me personally, Kenny. You and I have been in the trenches together. We have been on the opposite sides of a same table, or the same side of the same side of a table, but the opposite side of those that were in power.
Yes, that's the right way to say it.
If you know what I mean, we were the black sheep.
Oh, we definitely were. I think we still are the black sheep.
I'm now tarred and feathered on top of that black. But having said that, I just want to say to you, sir, and I genuinely mean this, and I say this with the most respect that I can garner, and genuineness. You have matured so greatly from when we got together, and as you know, from then, I've always had you, and I always said, "Come with me, Kenneth," when nobody else really wanted to.
That's true. Remember Kenton after the election?
Not just that, but you remember all the radio appearances. Yeah. Nobody wanted to be with Kenneth because he was a loose cannon. But come with me, Kenny.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, even from then, sir, I just can see the great maturity that you have, and I'm very proud of you. And I think the Cayman Islands, if they're really objectively looking at what you're doing and how you're trying to do it, I think they will feel the same way, that you're representing really, really well. And congratulations for keeping the pressure, getting your answers, and really calling them out on the floor as well. So from me personally, congratulations, sir, on maturing so well and so rapidly as a politician.
Thank you, Woody. I appreciate that, and I think I want to take this opportunity to say a quick thanks. It's not like a grand award or anything like that, but many of the persons have wondered to themselves to say, "Okay, Ken, you're doing well. You're growing as a representative and all that." And people go, "Well, where is your strategy and your thinking comes from?" And I want to really say thanks to probably one of my closest friends right now, as well as one of my political advisors, Mr. Edlin Moore. He really been with me throughout my growth. One of the many people who truly believed in my heart and knew that I had what it took to be successful. And I really respect him. And there's not many times that I get an opportunity to brag and boast about him, but the man is a great man, and just like me, sometimes not given the right opportunities to his intellectual understanding of politics and strategy and all that. So I want to say big thanks to Edlin Moore, Moose, better known as Moose. Big love you, brother. Thanks for being there with me throughout all this fighting and battling and political maneuvering and all that. So, but again, thank you so much, Woody, for recognizing my growth. But there's so much more to go. I have so much room to grow, and it's about taking a chance. And this is the same attitude of persons taking a chance on me is what I want people to take a chance on young Caymanians in our community. To say, yes, sometimes we're rough around the edges. Yes, sometimes that we don't have it perfect. But if you work with and you give them a chance, they can show you some pretty amazing things. So hopefully my story can be an example for other persons to say, well, I didn't realize that Mr. Brian would have turned out to be that or what have you. Look at another Caymanian and think the same thing, to say, look for the potential. Don't look for the negatives. Because for a long time, a lot of people were just thinking about the negatives. Now I see the narrative changing a little bit, and I'm happy about that. But Woody, I wouldn't want to toot myself too high, because I still have so much room to grow. And for those senior members in my community, particularly like the likes of Mr. Louis C. Banks, who gave advice to me and continues to give advice to me on things that matter most. There's some names out there that I even want to call, that I call late at night or call to get advice politically on matters and issues and topics that they try to stay away from politics. I want to say thank you to them. But anybody else who think that you can see that I can grow more and you can help me, don't be afraid to call me, because I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to learn. And I hope to be a leader in my community for a long time. As long as the people of Georgetown Central see it fit to have me there, because I want to grow with them together and address some of these solutions. But again, enough of that about me. Let's get back to what was discussed yesterday. One of the things that we talked about in the previous shows, Woody, was the fact that they had a number of questions submitted. And I am pleased to say that 3 of my questions have already been addressed on the floor of the House yesterday, and expect to have at least 3 more again tomorrow. So some of those questions that, for those who've been following me on the radio show here, have heard me list out the questions that I'm going to ask. At least 3 of them were answered yesterday. And I want to take a close look at least two of them. And I'm going to start off with the one in respect to the culvert systems in South Sound. And for those who are probably hearing it the first time, I put a question into the Honorable Minister Joey Hu to ask why the culvert systems under the South Sound Road was implemented and installed, and why is only one now in operation. And for those of you who may not know what a culvert system is, it's basically a drainage tunnel underneath the road that alleviates water from the swamped area in South Sound out to the sea. Now, his answer, which I suspected, I knew was for the purposes of alleviating water. It was a strategy put in a few decades ago because a lot of rainwater would collect there and create a lot of flooding for the other lands adjacent to it. And before the Linford Pearson was put in, that water would flow all the way back up to Crew Road. So it was a good alleviation system. But since then, two of the culvert systems were placed on private property, and they've since been closed off. The minister recognized that, yes, it's sad that they're gone. I asked the question in my supplementary questions to the first one was there any consideration as to the culvert systems when the planning approval was done? But there seems to be that there weren't no communication with planning because the culvert systems were put in by the NRA, that the planning department didn't even realize that the culvert systems were there. Ultimately, they were closed off, blah, blah, blah. I asked the minister for the minutes of the planning approval to see if there was any consideration. Did you even know or did you talk about it? Because they were obviously important. And the minister acknowledged that. But I want to give credit to the Honorable Minister Joey Hugh because he recognized the importance of them. And there is one left, which is just east of the South Sound dock. And people may say, well, why is this important, Kenneth? What does this have to do with me? Well, the culvert systems are one of the strategies used in the Cayman Islands to alleviate water, rainwater, and stormwater from the country. We know that the country is very, very flat. And whenever we get heavy rains, it becomes a bit of an issue. So this is why this issue is very important to you as well as everybody else, because you have to have good strategies to continue to alleviate these water pressures, because otherwise you'll have a lot of flooding. It could affect your business, your home, and like in your property values and so forth. But that last culvert system that is in place is actually almost directly connected to a very important area for me, which is the Randike area. Now, some persons may say, well, Kenneth, Randike isn't in your constituency. It's in actually Georgetown East. But I resonate with a lot of those persons who may not have the greatest opportunities in life or have the great money value like everybody else to buy a big piece of property on a high piece of land and have the best home. So many of those persons would have probably bought those properties because it was a cheaper investment than what they could afford. And for me, it's important that I continue to look out for those individuals to make sure that one of the major concerns for them, which is flooding, don't continue to be, but also because the connectivity of those culvert system goes all the way up to Crew Road. But because that last culvert system is almost directly connected to Randike, I'm concerned because I hear, you heard it here on this show, matter of fact, right here in Rooster Crosstalk, that the NRA is concerned that last culvert system is actually in danger of being closed off as well because there's developments happening in that area. So I want to give credit to the Honorable Joey Hugh because I've asked that the government and the cabinet give consideration to go out there and try to protect that culvert system because I am worried for the persons in Randike Gardens that if that culvert system is closed, when rainy season come, they're going to have some serious, more increasing of a problem in respect to flooding. And we already know that a lot of their property is devalued, it's hard to sell, it's hard to even get insured because of flooding. And I'm worried that if that culvert system is closed, what the continued problem would be for Randike and the persons in the surrounding area. So let's talk about how the culvert systems now connect back to my constituency, which is mainly from, is obviously the heart of Georgetown Central, but the problem connectivity works all the way up to Crew Road. Now, off of Crew Road, there's a number of what do you call it, joining roads. And at the end of those joining roads, which are closer to Linford Pearson, the road slants down a little bit. And at the very end of each one of those roads, because it's slanting down, hi, sweetheart, because it's slanting down, and because the Linford Pearson Highway has been implemented over the last couple of years, and because of those culvert systems are being closed off closer to the water, they used to alleviate that water. Whenever there's heavy rains now, persons who live off the Crew Road on the adjoining roads, like Canal Lane, for example, their land is flooding. So almost the last 3 houses of every road off of Crew Road is having a flooding problem. So because I know the water flows from Crew Road under Linford Pearson over to the South Sound lands and swamps and then out to the water, it's important that I focus on those culvert systems because now that they're closed off, that water is backing up. So that's the reason why I brought it up, but also directly for Randike. And this kind of goes hand in hand with my motion, which potentially may be debated today, about having a national flood strategy plan, finding unique ways to alleviate water pressures from rain, from storm surge, and the like, whether it be holding ponds for water, whether it be pumping systems or what have you. But as we continue to develop every year, we're seeing that the flow of water is switching. So a person may buy a piece of land today and it be dry. 5 years from now, you're in a pool of water. And we have to be able to have the proper regulations and structure within planning, within the roads structure, and all the various different agencies working hand in hand under one national plan to make sure that when you buy a piece of property, they're not going to be flooded out in a few years from now because Caymanians work so hard to put their money in that kind of major investment. So that was that question. The government, the Honorable Joey Hugh, has given commitment to discuss that, particularly because also I highlighted that the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Roy McTaggart, that Randike also falls in his constituency, Georgetown East. So I put that out there so that maybe there's a priority on making sure to protect that culvert system so Randike is not affected, as well as the Crew Road area. So let's move on to the other question that was answered yesterday in respect to the spending of money for the advertising on the cruise port. Yeah. Okay, so
I'm sorry. I shouldn't do that. Before we get started, let me just take this break because that one, Kenneth, it takes a whole segment on its own, and I don't want to get you started because that one.
But you heard the answers to it, right?
I did.
Yes. Okay.
I did, and my bottom lip is bleeding because I had to bite it so much.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
Mobil One The Grid is your VIP pass behind the scenes across the world of motorsport.
You're going to see that aggression start from the Daytona 500 all the way up until the end of the year.
I feel for the guys, driving past as close as I can, as fast as I can.
A great win! Porsche win Le Mans!
It's wall-to-wall action. There's no room for error.
These trucks will jump 15, 20 feet in the air.
From happy beginnings and life choices that we make along the way,
Brit K protects your lifestyle with the best insurance cover at the best possible price.
health insurance with far-reaching benefits,
Family protection and long-term financial plans.
business insurance and generous employee benefits.
For happy beginnings to happy ever after, visit Britk.ky.
Brit-K, where people come first.
I just need to know, whose side are you on?
This part's where the experiment really begins.
This ain't no place for no hero. This ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero who go home. They're coming. This ain't no place for no hero.
Your morning part of your day. If you're just tuning in right now, I have MLA Kenneth Bryan in the studios. And remember these numbers. 233-1019 is the in-studio number if you would like to speak with the MLA. And that is sponsored by our wonderful friends at Superior Auto. In addition, I have the WhatsApp number, which is 324-1019, 324-1019. Also, the Facebook page, which is Cayman Crosstalk. We have a live streaming video. You can post immediately there. I will pass it on to him. And in addition, if you're a little afraid that no one of 4,900 people seeing us, that's following us right now, to see what you're saying, I will back end message me. I will give it to the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, and he can answer those things. But your ID will be held in strict confidence with me. Also got Cayman crosstalk at hurleysmedia.ky is our email.
Yes, Woody, thank you
Email
again. Sometimes I get worried when the lines don't light up or people are not commenting. I go, is nobody listening?
Oh, well,
but I'm hoping that the people are just fully intent to the discussion. That's why they're not getting a lot of comments. And I'm hoping that these things that I'm speaking about are valid and important to the people to want to hear.
I'm getting feedback on social media. Just want to let you know.
Okay, perfect. So the next question that was answered yesterday is the question I put to the Honorable Deputy Premier, Moses Colonel, and the question was, can the Honorable Minister say whether the Cayman Islands, whether government or the Ministry of Tourism is paying for any advertising that suggests, quote unquote, the signing of a referendum petition equals to a no vote for the port? Now, the reason why I asked that question is because the foundation of the government's argument to stop people from wanting the referendum is this fear that if you actually have a say in whether you want this port or not, that want to have a say by way of referendum is going to kill it all together. So I go, okay, well, that's potentially true, but prove it. Don't just make it up. So I basically asked, well, can you give me correspondence? Through a supplementary question I asked, can you give me correspondence of documentation from the cruise industry partners that is involved in this negotiation? Show me where, by email or by a contract or something of the sort, that says, if you go to a referendum, we're pulling out of this deal. And I asked the question twice, and up to now I haven't got an answer because it's not there. And it goes back to my theory that the government is using scare tactics to stop people from signing the petition because they don't want a referendum. Now,
there are benefits that we see by having the new or large class ships coming to Grand Cayman. We'll still continue to come here, but what we're saying is there aren't any threats. We're just saying we'd like the opportunity, if it makes sense and this all comes together, to be able to bring those larger ships here.
That's why we will never get it. He answered it for them. There's no threats.
All right.
And 65% of their new vessels are the same size ships that they have currently in port. And the smaller minority of ships being built are the massive mega class ships.
Well, but what I want to say this, right? Like this topic about the piers is very delicate because there's a lot of people's lives who depend on cruise tourism. And what there is this narrative out there that the cruise tourism is going to be lost. And it's good. People are going to be out of jobs, and they're going to not be able to pay their mortgages and feed their children.
Charles Clifford time.
Yeah, if we don't do these piers, and that's what I'm worried about because I don't want people to think that I'm supporting something that will hurt them. But the government are, I guess you can say the government, because that's what they're involved in. They're doing the advertising. They're selling this narrative that if they don't get this pier, that their lives are gone, and that's not necessarily the truth. And it's a political strategy. Let's just call it what it is, right? But why I ask this question is to get into that political strategy and identify that what you're saying is actually a lie. So let's get down to the meat of this all.
Yes, sir.
Which is signing this referendum that people want a chance to have their say equals no port. Prove that. That's my if you are right, then the people have to recalculate their thoughts to say, ultimately, do we need a cruise port? And if we actually go to a referendum, there's the chance for the port to be gone, then people will recalculate their thinking in respect to whether they want to sign the petition or not. And the Honorable Premier knows that. Hence the reason why he put the fare out there. So if you want to put that fare out there, it's for you to justify you're the leader of this country. Verify that fare. And they couldn't. And I asked the Honorable Deputy Premier twice, prove to me by some sort of verification or communications with the cruise industry persons that if we go to a referendum, if the people have their democratic choice, whether they want a pair or they don't want a pair, or if they want it in a particular way or certain things to be addressed, that the port will stop. And they couldn't answer it because there is no correspondence. Mm-hmm. I don't think the cruise industry partners would ever dare come to this country and say, if you people try to choose your democratic process, we backing out and we got nothing to do with you. They would never do that. Their image would be dead in the water. So I know it was a lie. And they couldn't prove it. And yet again, that's why I put the question there. Anyway, but the good thing about that question, though, I want to stay on the positives as well. The good thing out of that question was that the government has agreed to, on the floor of the House now, so there's no denying that they're going to have the opportunity to give my constituents of Georgetown Central another political meeting. The one that, unfortunately, he was unable to attend. And I respect that. He's a busy person and all that. So I'm sad that he didn't get to come to the last one. But he's promised that he will make himself available, him and the Premier, for a meeting for Georgetown Central constituents to answer questions of concern for them. Because one of the big things for me, right, we're going to sit here and argue about whether we should have piers or we shouldn't have piers. The big thing that I'm getting back from my constituents now is the fear of the depth of dredging and what it could do to Georgetown Central. That's become the number one thing. Obviously, there's other things like the coral reef, the environment, the need for it, to spend, how much money we're going to spend it. And so the list of concerns are ranked now. And the one that's popping to the front the most by the people of Georgetown Central and a lot of the business owners who own property in Georgetown Central, but not necessarily voters in Georgetown Central, is if they were to dredge in town, what would that mean for the waterfront and the water action and all that? So these questions, I want the ministry and the minister to come to Georgetown Central and answer them. So I'm glad that they at least got that positivity out of it. I know you want to say something.
No, I'm just going to say they can read the outline business case scenario addendum by PwC. I believe, if my memory serves me correct, it's either Section 5 or Section 6 that talks about sediment delivery, which is not beach erosion, but sediment delivery, and wave action. Wave action will increase, and as a result, the increase, there will be much more claims on wave damage. In addition to that, I had the director of DOE and the deputy director on DOE. They, too, expressed right on this very program, if you want to go back and look at that segment, you can see they articulated the same concerns that your constituents have, that increased wave action, especially in the Hogstye Bay area, immediately by Shedden Road. At the top of it is that a great, massive concern, because that's your constituency.
Yeah.
Any kind of little nor'wester comes in.
And let me tell you something.
You know the beauty. It's actually beautiful when it hits, but it's not pretty when it damages.
Let me tell you something. As a young man, I've walked Shedden Road so many times barefoot growing up as a little Georgetowner. And I don't want anything to happen to Shedden Road at all. So I am fearful of it too. But of course, I want success for our cruise industry. But we have to have this continued dialogue and discussion. And that's why the signing of the petition is nothing wrong with that. Nobody's saying that you don't want the port. All we're saying is, let's have our choice based on the information that is put out there. But something that bothered me yesterday in respect to a position that the Honorable Deputy Premier suggested. And I hate to say it, but the politics is just laughable. Where he goes, well, rather than opposing the government, what the constituencies and the representatives need to do is recognize that there's job opportunities for their constituents and focus on that.
Explain where the jobs are.
No, wait, hear me out. He's right. He's very right. The truth is, there will be job opportunities. Whether they'll be guaranteed for my people is another question altogether. There's another question altogether, because I can promise you this. The labor element of any contractual agreement is going to be a sensitive area in respect to negotiations. I'm going to tell you why. Let me just try to get this out.
Yeah.
We know that the cost of a project has to do with the cost of a salary of the workers. And any person who agrees to a project is going to try to get the cheapest salary they possibly can get because they make more profits. Now, does that mean that you're going to be willing to get work permit holders who you can work more for cheaper? Or are you going to hire Caymanians who rightfully are going to say, I think I'm deserving of a reasonable pay and not overworking underpaid kind of thing. So that's going to be a negotiation part. Now, so if the minister came to me and said, Kenneth, I guarantee you 100 jobs for your constituents, maybe we can negotiate. Because I'm here for my people of Georgetown Central. But there's no guarantees of that, because we don't know that until the contract is signed. But here's what he's also suggesting is that I ignore all the other things that are concerned simply because of jobs. Now, that's a tactic, you see, because what you're trying to do is say, well, boy, you don't want no work for your people because you're bringing up these other issues. Of course I want work for my people. Don't be silly. Stop playing games. But it would be a failure of my responsibilities not to only think about the work. Suppose I said, I'm going to give 100 people jobs, but the whole 7 Mile Beach is going to be gone in 10 years. You think it would have been a good idea to just focus on the jobs? No. Stop the political strategy. Stop it.
It's scaremongering.
It's scaremongering is exactly what it is. But I want my people to underline and understand what they do when they do it. Because they try to distract you by looking this direction and not look at the other. So put that into context. I won't want the people of Georgetown Central to ever think, well, Kenneth, you're trying to stop a project where probably we can get work from. No, I am definitely not. If we find a good solution that's in the best interest of every Caymanian, then we're going to do it and we can get work out of it together. But I am expected and I'm obligated by law and by my responsibility to the people of Georgetown Central and all of the Cayman Islands to make sure I look at all facets of the discussion and concerns and rationalize them into the best way. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not against the project. I want to make sure that if we do the project, it's the right thing. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Sure. And we got to go and take a break. And we got callers on line 233-1019. But I just want to remember and remind you and every other politician this as well. You are mandated by Section 18 of the Constitution to protect the environment at all costs, today and for future generations. You must do everything possible in all your planning and all your actions, and I'm paraphrasing here because it's somewhat in my mind, but must do all things to make sure that you preserve what is here and limit the degradation of our environment for future generations. That is a mandate. That is not, you may consider it. It is, you must do so. As in Dr. Steve McField would say, yes, listen to it. That is point one. Point two, you have been in marketing for a long time, sir.
Yes.
You've engaged people to do work for you, sir. And to say that you, if a statement went out with Kenneth Bryan's name on it and was paid by Kenneth Bryan, and you said, I had no clue that was out there, you would either hold somebody accountable within your campaign.
There's no way in the world that I'm going to be involved in marketing, somebody sending messages out with me, and I don't know what the message is. That's not possible.
Why is that not possible?
Because you have to proofread everything before you send it out.
Oh, okay. All right. I just wanted to find out whether or not government operated in a different plane. And so I'm going to pay you. You just do whatever you want to do.
I can't possibly see them being that irresponsible.
Well, wasn't that somewhat the answer? We engaged a third-party company to do work for us because remember, if you watch my question, which I was the very last person on the 26th of September.
Yes.
You can go to part 2 on Cayman 27 webpage.
Yes.
It's part 2. Go around about minute 56 into it. That's when I asked the question. One of the very first questions I asked, who was, Save Our Port, Save Our Future? Who was that? Because all of the propaganda that was on the walls cited that particular entity.
Yes.
And the deputy premier and I believe the chief officer did say, that is us, that is government. So I just wanted to clarify that and to separate yourselves from the two and to say that the messaging went out.
I think everybody knows that, though.
No, but we have to clarify those things.
They'll play the games. And when we get back, if we can, because I think we have some engagers who've called in. I want to give them a chance. I'm going to wrap up soon because I want to at least get to the LA on time for 10 o'clock, if in fact we ever start on time. But that's another thing altogether. So callers, please stay on line. When we get back from this break, I want to hear from you.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
Hi, I'm Caroline Hobby, host of Nashville Insider, where we bring you the latest in country music news and happenings. Join us as we interview your favorite artists and go behind the scenes of country music's hottest events.
Watch Nashville Insider right here on Cayman 27.
Get the quality, the service, the wide range of products in the BRAC. Everything you love about Paramount Carpets is now available on Cayman BRAC. Carpets, flooring, drywall, paints, windows and doors, lumber, from plumbing to electrical supplies. You'll find it all and a whole lot more at Paramount Carpets, Cayman BRAC.
We do a whole lot more than just cover your floor at Paramount.
carpets.
I'm John Barry, and this is Songs and Stories. I believe in every song there's a story waiting to be told, and in every story there's a song waiting to be sung. Each week I'll have a friend stop by who will share great songs and personal stories in a unique setting that have been part of their life and career. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Champion House Restaurant, serving Cayman for over 30 years. Start your day off right with our breakfast, fruits, pastries, hot cereals, entree, and so much more. Stop by for lunch. Our buffet offers salad, soup, entrees, and desserts. Check out our website for details on our new dinner menu. And don't forget about catering. We can customize any menu to suit your needs. Champion House Restaurant, where the islanders dine.
We should be back in the studios very, very shortly. If you want to call in, number is 233-1019, 233-1019. In addition, the WhatsApp number, which is 324-1019, 324-1019. And just got some callers here now. And also on our Facebook page, you can actually post beneath the live streaming video. If you don't want to do that, just private message me and I'll share it with MLA Brian. Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Hi, good morning. Are you hearing me?
Yes, ma'am.
So I had a comment. I agree. The government and the messaging that's on the radio and the advertising, it's definitely fear-mongering. I think that the people should have a right to petition and vote on this issue. It's an issue that will impact current generation, future generations, and my husband and myself signed the petition, and, we support our right to be able to have a say in it. And we don't live in Georgetown, but it's still, our island and our children's island. I also think that the port itself needs to be assessed, like the MLA is saying, in terms of the environmental impact, the dredging. I think those things are really important, and I feel that the current administration and the Ministry of Tourism, they're kind of playing on people's fears that you need a job now, but what about 10, 15, 20 years from now? Right now, I just drove through town drove from Town on my way into town, and I noticed that the cruise ships are in Prospect today because on the waterfront, the waves are so high that they can't even, dock in town. So even if they build a new cruise port right here in town, what do they do in high season right now in, December, January, where there's nor'easters every year and they can't even dock here? Are they still going to go in Prospect? Those are the type of things that I think people need to understand. And I think that, again, the fear-mongering saying, oh, we need jobs now, and maybe we need to be looking at it from a different perspective is, okay, well, maybe if the cruise industry is not where it needs to be, sometimes people need to adapt and change and go into different industries. And just like how, Cayman once upon a time never had anything to do with the financial services industry, now they do. They adapt and change. So it doesn't mean that, oh, you're never going to have a livelihood if you don't have this stock. I think that's the key. And I really feel that those advertisements, every time I hear it, I turn off the radio. It's really annoying. It's upsetting because it's real, true propaganda. And you're just like, give me a break. Like, people should have a right to say something or vote on it. And people should care about the environment. You're going to go dig a port. And in December, you're still going to go bring the ships in Prospect. Like, give me a break. That's just my 2 cents.
Thank you so much, caller. And I love people like that who are just real and they can see through the smoke in the mirrors, And that's what
it really is smoke and mirrors. Yeah. Like and it's crazy because people are eating it up. They're buying it, and that's the scary part. You're like, whoa, do you really believing this? That you can't ever work if you don't have or you're going to lose out on work, and you may get work for 10 years, and then what? Exactly what you were saying. Then what? You're going to have to reinvent yourself sooner or later. Once upon a time, 20, 30 years ago, people made rope, people did other things, and now they do new things. And in 10, 20 years from now, you're going to have to reinvent yourself and do other things and diversify your industry.
Exactly.
So you can't bank on the fact that, oh, I need to stand in line or I need to, be selling T-shirts and catering to the cruise ships. I'm not saying we shouldn't have cruise ships. It's a great thing. But I'm also not saying that we should go be digging the harbor at Georgetown and then the nor'easters come and you're still going to Prospect. That's stupid. Yeah. It's just straight up.
Caller, let me ask
it doesn't make no sense.
Let me ask you something. Because I love you. I can see right into your mind. I think are quite similar to myself, right? If you see that there is an administration willing to do scaremongering on this topic? Though, doesn't that bring you to thinking to say, well, if they're willing to do this kind of behavior with this topic, are they willing to do similar behaviors with other very important topics like jobs?
Absolutely. I think it's all corruption. That's my personal opinion. I think absolutely. They got to have something in it for themselves. Their pockets must be lined. I mean, come on. It's kind of like you can't be so educated and know what's going on, know how it will impact it. You don't need an environmental impact study to tell you that it's not good. Like, that's common sense. You know what I mean? You really don't need somebody to. I understand you go through it for the procedures and the protocol. I get it. But do you really need somebody to tell you that it's not probably a good idea to just be digging out the Georgetown Harbor right there? Like, is it really worth it, the benefit? And right now, as we speak, I am parked right here on waterfront, and I'm seeing the waves coming in like crazy, so much so that the cruise ships are in prospect. Are you serious? Does it take really, like, so you must have something in it why you're pushing it so hard. That's how I look at it. Like, you got to have something in it, because if right now, and we're only in November, and I'm parked out here, and the cruise ship I just passed earlier is in prospect, because you got a cold front, not even a proper nor'easter, just a little cold front coming from the Yucatan Peninsula. They
Yeah, just as a cold front.
You know what I'm saying? So
not a nor'wester,
when you build your
not
nice
a hurricane.
fancy pier, where are the ships going to go?
Caller, I got to ask you, it seems like you have been engaged in for quite a long while. And I need to ask you, because sometimes when you get into politics and so forth, you kind of become jaded, and you're kind of sometimes focused on the immediate that is immediately in front of your eyes. But I have to ask this question earnestly. And I think as a constituent and as a concerned person like you, which you've articulated at the very beginning, why do we have such short memories as the electorate? The reason why, here's a question I ask, and honestly, it's very insulting to me as a Caymanian, because the politicians are a reflection of the electorate. That's just how democracy works, right? But do you all remember when we were getting all of the massive hotels that were coming here and needing concessions? Do you remember the first thing they said? Oh, our people will get jobs. Do you know what I feel on this show? And Kenneth, you were here with me, and I know both of us were pissed at it. Was that locals are no longer in the hospitality field. So where are the jobs for them in the hotels that are here?
Exactly.
They dominated.
My husband and I talk about it all the time. It's
There's jobs. There's jobs, but they're not for Caymanians. So
they're not hiring the locals.
So is it what the chief officer of the Ministry of Human Resources and Immigration said the other day, Mr. Wesley Howell, whom I like? He says immigration brings in $90 million. Is it that's what they're concerned with, the revenue source of a work permit? Or is it for the locals being really employed? And that's where the clarification needs to be done.
That's exactly the problem. You're absolutely right. There's something in it for someone, and that's why they have to push certain agendas. Listen, I'll be upfront. I'm not a Caymanian. I'm married to a Caymanian. I live here, and I have Caymanian children, and I have no intentions of leaving. And I've been here, a good little while, and I appreciate the country, and I appreciate everything that it has to offer, and I'm invested in it. My kids are here, and I see what it does. I see what it does to the local population and the local community, and my heart breaks for the locals, because I'm like, they're a minority in their own country, and they can't even get their stuff together. You know what I mean? Because they just can't get it together. They just can't organize themselves. And it breaks my heart. So I try to be vocal when I can, and a lot of people be like, well, you don't really have an interest in it. You're an expat. Okay, yeah. I have a vested interest. We own a property here. My husband's from here. My kids are a part of the culture. My in-laws, et cetera, that sort of thing. But I see what happened, and I'm looking at it from the outside. I'm like, this is crazy. It's just absolute madness that you would sell out Georgetown Harbor for pretty much dollars and cents that can only take you so far, right? What are you doing for the long-term planning of the future generations of Cayman? Are you going to be like that island up in the South Pacific, Nauru, whatever it's called, where they've sold out all the phosphate and now they have nothing? They're just living on cans and beans type of thing. Like, what are you planning to do? What are my kids going to do? What are my kids going to do? So while other people can easily come and say, oh, they're trying to hold back progress. You don't need a big fancy port that you can't even use during high season anyway. It just doesn't make sense. You need to think about the environment. People are just digging up, taking out rocks out of it. It's a natural thing on a very small island.
Yes.
And the thing about what I tell people, in other bigger countries, things like this go on. We're not saying that it doesn't go on, right? It goes on. However, the impact is less felt. On a little small island like Cayman, beautiful Cayman Islands, when these things happen, it impacts the majority, not the minority. We all live close to the shoreline. We all have a hand in everything. You know what I mean? It impacts all of us. So they need to make decisions based on all. You can't just go making decisions. I agree they should have a referendum. People need to be able to have their voices heard, and they need to stop going on the radio and scaring people to making them think that they're never going to have a job because they depend on the cruise industry. And I guess, is that what they told them when they depended on thatch making and they depended on the turtle industry? Didn't they reinvent themselves? Look at the progress and the success of the islands now, how they have been able to reinvent themselves, Caymanians, in the financial services industry, the banking industry, and the tourism industry, not the way that I think they should be, but they've been able to reinvent themselves, and they can continue to. They don't need to rely on a big, expensive port that's going to be over budget. It's going to dig up the harbor, and you can't use it during high season with nor'easters. Come on. Common sense, you don't need a study to tell you that.
Caller, I couldn't agree with you more, because the focus is that we have to do this because we're not bold enough to diversify our economy. That's the biggest thing that you said so far. Because this administration, and I really try my best not to be too rough on them, right? But this is one part that I think they're failing in. The only thing they know how to do is focus on the two industries that we have. That's it. Because they can't think outside the box for themselves. We supposed to, at least for the last 20 years, been focusing, okay, we got two pillars of our economy. It's time to start creating some more. So just in case something goes wrong, like say for instance this fear of the cruise industry going down, or the fear of financial services being affected by outside forces, that we don't put all our eggs in one basket. And I don't see that. We talk about every election about diversifying our economy. We're supposed to be going out there selling to the world. Listen, we want to create new industries here. Come to us, come present to this country so we can open up the doors to new things. So we don't have to be so dependent. You know why they're selling this? They're saying, oh, if we don't get this, then we're going down. If you were focused on something else, we wouldn't be in this bargaining position right now. We would say, listen, too bad. If you don't want to come, go. Because we want to protect our environment.
Absolutely.
Caller, thank you so much. You're so.
Thank you too. It was nice, and I will say we're not on either party side because I haven't seen any party. Because I mean, previous party, current party, everybody's pushing for this port, and I think it's their pockets are lying. It's very evident. The way how they behave is just like, what are you getting out of it? You know what I mean? So, but that's my 2 cents.
Caller, if I may just say to you, just in closing, just from me, you have a vested interest. You have children here.
Yes.
And you said something very important to me. This is now home. And I would say to you and to every person that may have not born here, as the old saying used to, as one of our late stalwarts would say, Consuelo Ebanks, if you came here by plane, you came here by pain, we're still Caymanian. So I hope that we start looking on that, and all of us on there. To me, I don't call it a cat boat because a cat boat is a very stable boat. We're all in a canoe, Cayman, and we all must make sure that we're paddling in synchronicity and that we are all together. So I would say to you, don't ever consider yourself not Caymanian, because I think you articulated it well, that this is home, children are here, property has been acquired, and this is where you're living.
Yeah, we have no plans to leave, but, you still have the feedback from some that, you don't really have a vest. I can always leave if I wanted to. I have another passport. But, it is what it is. It's definitely home. We're not going anywhere. And we have a vested interest, and we're fighting for our island, my kids' island, my island too,
Yep.
I want to see progress and success in an efficient, sensible, reasonable, common sense kind of way.
Right.
Let's just be realistic about it,
Great. Thank you very much for your contribution and calling this morning and listening to Cayman Crosstalk. Emily O'Brien, we got other callers online, but I want to take this last little closing for you.
More of Cayman Crosstalk on Rooster 101 and live on Cayman 27 is next.
Attention viewers of Cayman 27, the Truth of God television program with Pastor Gino Jennings of the First Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ can now be seen exclusively in the Cayman Islands on this channel every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. You won't want to miss the dynamic preaching and teachings of Pastor Jennings as he speaks the truth from God's Holy Bible. Tune in every Sunday morning at 10:30 a.m. for the 1-hour broadcast of the Truth of God with Pastor Gino Jennings exclusively on Cayman 27. Cayman Informed.
Have you had your Tortuga moment today? Come by Tortuga Fine Wine and Spirits for all your liquor needs and taste the world-famous Tortuga rum and rum cake. Always delicious and baked fresh daily in the captivating Cayman Islands. With ongoing renovations at the airport, we invite you to shop our stores and buy before you fly. Relive the Cayman Islands in every bite.
Dynafroze, Dragon's Revenge. One day, 4 boys from the future traveled back millions of years through time.
Once upon a time, deep under the sea, there lived a kind and clever little turtle named Tula.
Citizens of Lotus Valley, the hour is upon us. Our way of life is being dramatically threatened. You, the Alliance, are the last hope of freedom and the
the flavor with a beat. Black thing now move up him dancing feet. We dance them flavor with a beat. Holy sauce, yeah, we acting on the street. Young middle age or old, move your feet. When Grace if we dance, everybody have to do it.
Grace, feel the vibe, can't you feel it? Grace, delicious, so nutritious. Yes, quality when you taste it. Want affordable, look for the label.
Flavor we are flavor because the spice is flaring. Flavor with a beat, no other brand than the near way.
One taste and you know Grace is real.
Crosstalk. Given that we only have about 9 minutes before closing, I'm going to go straight to the phone lines and asking the callers online. If you're on, please be cognizant of time. I would like to give the MLA some time for closing statements before he has to rush off to LA. Good morning, caller. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Woody, and
good morning, sir.
Kenneth.
Good morning.
Listen, good show, Kenneth. Good show, Woody. I think it's really refreshing to hear other voices calling in, other people who are who have similar ideas as to how our government should be looking at sustainable development as opposed to mass development, where we're not taking in account, the repercussions of a lot of these things. But I'll make it very quick because we want Kenneth to have some closing words. 2 things. Diversity is a must for our society. We can't depend on service dollars, because then we won't have people like Wesley Howell coming on the radio glorifying $90 million off of work permit and immigration fees simply because we're a service-based society. We depend on these services. It is what makes up our GDP. So we have to diversify to get something that doesn't rely on the thing that has caused the social and fabric of Cayman to deteriorate. Because Woody, you've heard me say this for many, many years. Ruddy Selsar put an article in 1972 in the Cayman Northwest that simply stated that if we didn't put comprehensive training and awareness programs in place for our hospitality industry, now that in the future we will be combating and fighting cheap labor, and that has come to pass. It was the truest thing ever said. Secondly, we must emphasize, Kenneth, and there's a lot of other reasons why a cruise pier in Georgetown Harbor is not ideal and we shouldn't be building it. There's a lot of reasons, but we must emphasize that if the government is gonna put on the backs of the idea that the reason why they're doing it is because they have to enhance our tourism product and we have to enhance our revenue that being generated, then we must emphasize that out of the total head count of all tourism that comes to our island, 20% of them, which are stay over, spend $650 million. The other 80% only spend $145 million. So then it would be hard to believe that the argument is now that we want to go to mass cruise tourism, which spends far less than to stay over, and with more impact on our infrastructure, as opposed to, extending the runway, building a proper airport, because beautifying the airport only to accommodate the same amount of people that you're accommodating now, in my opinion, is counterproductive. That's just my opinion. So we should be emphasizing and focusing all of those revenues, all of those monies on extending our runway, getting some of those transatlantic air flights. And you're right, that would then increase and make 10 times more money than we currently making from the tourism sector. And then we would have less reliance on all of those service things that we have to continue to generate. Like, for instance, bringing in cars and do this. We see that Cayman is being overrun with cars. However, we cannot stop letting them in, because we depend on the duties that they generate. Same thing with work permits. So yes, we need to diversify, and we must have a serious look at what it is we're trying to accomplish when it comes to this cruise pair, as opposed to what it is that is going to happen after it's done. The reality is that we must focus on our stay over. Look at any other properly developed country in the world that focus on their tourism, and you'll see that it's their on-land infrastructure and their airport base that generates over 90% of their entire tourism dollar. But again, we need to emphasize these things more. I wish we had more time. But, we need to continue. Kenneth, don't you ever miss a spot on any week that you need to go on the radio to continue this message, bro, because the government has taken a position that they're going to spend our dollars to fight us. So you must do the same, because you're in there, you have an opportunity, and you are the voice of the smaller people. So you need to continue to do that at all expense. So I'll listen into your closing remarks. Have a good one.
Thanks, man.
So thank you very much. Emily, Brian?
Thank you, Woody. I want to say thank you so much to Mario for his input. You cannot find a more committed person to a cause than the likes of Mr. Rankin. When he is going to do something, you can depend on that. And you have to give credit to Caymanians who stay committed to a cause. I wish there was a lot more people like Mario in respect to their commitments to their community, and I'm proud of you, my brother. Plenty of them won't give you the credit that you deserve in respect to your commitment to causes that you fight for, because of many different reasons, just like how they probably won't support me because they have other reasons, right? But you keep doing what you're doing, and I can promise you this: I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and as long as the Hurley's group and Mr. Randy Marin and Woody allows me to come on the show, I will continue to be the voice as loud as I possibly can, as logical as I possibly can, as responsible as I possibly can, and as direct and defending the people's position as much as I can. So thank you for those inputs. And folks, don't think for 1 second that this discussion about the port has gone anywhere. But I do understand that there's other matters that are going on, because some people say, Ken, it's a lot about the port. But the port situation is a very important one because it can affect us long term. Hence the reason there's a lot of energy and airtime and efforts being put into this, because the battle has not been won. Matter of fact, we're so far from that in respect to finding the best solution for this country. But I understand there's other things. Hence the reason I'm talking about other things, but we always end up going back to the port at some point. Woody, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on the show. Obviously, I'm not going to be here again until next week, Thursday. But I'm
feel free to call like you do.
Yeah, I might actually do that if I see there is an opportunity. I don't want to impose on anybody, but there's going to be a number of things that are transpiring between now and next week, Thursday, within the LA that I would love for everybody to know, and I want to give them a summary. So I may pop in on the phone to give you an update. But before I go, I want to remind all those persons out there that want to get a job opportunity if you're not working, that the NICE program is set to start the registration next week, Monday, which is the 19th of November at the Lion Center. For Georgetown Central constituents who are interested in it, the forms are at my office, which is on number 71 Crown Square, Eastern Avenue. So you can go there and get the form there. You have to then take that form. Once you've filled it out, my secretary can assist you. Take it down to the Lion Center on Monday morning when they start, and get yourself signed up for work. Thank you so much for the show. Thank you for your listening audience, all those on Facebook, all those on TV, all those on radio. God bless each and every one of you. Remember to love yourselves and love each other. God bless. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you very much, Emily Brighton, and congratulations on the wins. Although it's one of those hollow wins, But thank you very much for coming in. And just please note that every politician has a space on the show, but it's you and the opposition that has chosen to come on. But thank you very much. Tomorrow's going to be another great day. I've lined up for you. It's jam-packed from beginning to end. A lot of things that you need to know as well. And I'm able to, congratulations, and I'm looking forward to hearing your questions being answered. And I just want to say that I got a special request this morning. As you all heard at the top of the hour, you may not hear it on TV, but you probably hear it on radio. Bread with the Guitar Man, in memorandum of our own guitar man in the Cayman Islands, Mr. Jonathan Ebanks, whom unfortunately passed away. My deepest condolences go out to his friends and his family.
If it matters to you, it matters to us. We're Cayman 27, Cayman Informed.
Coming up next, an 18-page report details a decade of illegal water dumping by the National Roads Authority. The debut of Cayman's only waste management facility is put on hold.
I'm not going to abandon my mother because you don't help her. No.
An elderly woman takes a stand after the needs assessment unit closes the door on her assistance.
We catch up with Cayman's top amateur gymnast as she competes at the Artistic World Championships, and a little bit more from the 10K to hell and back.
And it's a beautiful, breezy Wednesday here at the Cayman Islands Yacht Club. I'm Cayman 27's Joe Avery, weathermanning it up. I'm going to have a full forecast for you coming right up.
Cayman 27 News is coming up next.
The flavor with a beat. Black thing now move up him dancing feet. We dance them flavor with a beat. Holy sauce, yeah, we acting on the street. Young middle age or old, move your feet. When Grace if we dance, everybody have to do it.
Grace, feel the vibe, can't you feel it? Grace, delicious, so nutritious. Yes, quality when you taste it. Want affordable? Look for the label.
Flavor we are flavor because the spice is flaring. Flavor with a beat, no other brand of the near way.
One taste and you know